It's a Clerks reference.
Oh, the 37 blowjobs.
Yep.
Welcome to the Backlot 605 podcast. This is episode number 37. I am Casey Kelderman.
I'm Brian Mensing.
And today we're joined with a couple schmucks that we always like to have on. Blake Ginithan.
Hello.
That's it?
That's it.
That's awesome. Chris.
Glad to be here.
Yes.
Are you
I
gonna-
like Chris.
are you-
Chris has a catchphrase. Brian, you need one.
Are you
I need a
going to
catchphrase,
get your
too.
clarification finally?
Chris, how do you say your last name? Because I think I messed it up last week.
Schlapkohl.
I was pretty
You got
close.
it- you
I
got
was
it
pretty
right then.
close.
So it's Schapkohl with schlop in it.
Schlapkohl.
It's spelled how it sounds or whatever.
Gotcha.
Right.
So
What's the origins? German. Okay.
I think or Dutch.
So that's our episode today. We're going to talk about where our names came from. It's going to be very exciting.
As everybody says, turn this shit off.
What? There's Comic-Con. Talk about it. And we will. We are going to talk about all the frickin' trailers and news and everything coming out of Comic-Con this past weekend. And then our big topic for the week, Tarantino films. In honor of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, we're going to be playing a little game that only a couple of us know how it's going to work. And it'll be
And
fun.
And the other two are not excited about so yet.
It'll be fun. I'm scared to show you it because I think you'll hate it. But that's all right.
I know I will.
I will like
I
it.
think you're right.
You'll hate it. All right, let's start this off. Let's
I'm gonna
jump.
hate you actually.
Probably.
Millennials.
Let's start off with the box office. We're going to quickly run through it because there's only two big stories out of this week. The Lion King, $185 million, tops the weekend box office. No surprise. Big money for this Disney live-action remake.
Sounds like a lot of $185 million of meh.
I don't think I'll be impressed with the opening weekend until someone hits 300 million anymore. That's just because everyone's hitting 150, 100 to 200.
You're not
Every
wrong.
every Disney movie.
I don't care. I don't even care if it's Disney. I just want to see someone hit 300 million opening weekend.
At least 200.
Right. Well, didn't Star Wars hit 200 something one of its opening weekends?
Both of them did.
Yeah.
Oh, did they?
Star Wars. The next one has to hit 300, else it'll be a failure. That's how I see it.
Telling it how it is.
Yep.
Is there anything else we need to discuss with The Lion King? 'Cause, like, there's no surprise that it's number one.
No.
Did anybody see it besides me?
No.
No.
Chris, I want to hear your thoughts on it.
Is it meh?
We would need a whole podcast, I'll tell you that. But I will say, once you're done watching it, the first thing you're going to want to do is go back and watch the original. Because,
You want to cleanse yourself?
yeah.
Really?
Copy-paste, that's what I'll tell you.
That's all I've heard about the reviews.
Copy-paste.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, last night, my fiance asked me if you want to go watch Lion King. I'm like, okay, yeah. And I pulled it off the shelf. Let's watch it.
Yeah. Did you guys watch it?
No.
No.
I'm not going to. No.
No, I meant the original. Did you watch the original one? Like that?
Oh, she's like, no, let's go watch the new one. I'm like, we have it. It's right
Yeah,
here.
we do. Yeah.
I own it.
But can't you make that argument about all of the Disney remakes that are happening? That they're basically just copy and paste? Or not? Or am I wrong? I've never seen any of them. So.
I will say this. What's weird to me is that since Jon Favreau directed this, and this is copy-paste, to me, The Jungle Book is like the best example of how to make
A remake.
a remake, something brand new. Like
I would
Jungle
say
Book is brand new.
Jungle Book and Cinderella are
Did-
the two best out of those.
Who directed the Jungle Book?
Jon Favreau.
Favreau
which is
did.
so
Weird.
weird that he did this.
He probably saw a paycheck and was like,
They're like, here is
I need to right
this
click
number.
this.
Just fill it out for us, and you take it to the
Well,
bank, and we'll go to the bank.
And well, like you said, it's the paycheck. He's probably off doing Far From Home while watching the dailies that the computer artists are making, because all he has to do is, no, tweak this. Okay, you remember in the original, do that.
yeah.
See that shot in the original? Just put real, quote unquote, real
I
lines.
listened
there.
to last week's episode, and I'm so with you guys. Like, he needs to go back and do something like Made or Swingers. You know, like him and Vince Vaughn, and like get Ed Burns in there and like make a really cool like character study comedy like those again. I missed that. You know.
Yeah. So if you haven't, check out our John Favreau
Check
episode
out the
from
John
last
Favreau,
week.
'cause I'm also in on the elf hate too. So
Are we all in agreement that Elf sucks?
I don't think it sucks.
It sucks.
It's fine.
It's
it doesn't suck.
it's
I
fine.
was waiting for Chris
Okay,
to be like
it's
crickets.
that it's overhyped.
It's an inner.
Yes.
It's a good Will Ferrell movie, but I do not get the love at all.
Okay.
It's fine.
We heard it here. Elf sucks. Let's move on. The other big news for the week: Avengers: Endgame becomes the highest-grossing film of all time because apparently Disney lost $2 million along the way.
And then they found it conveniently.
Conveniently.
For Comic-Con.
It would have been a lot better if they had found the exact amount they needed to beat Avengers for the week.
by a penny or something.
We found what we needed. I do like to at least preface the fact that that we have Lion King, Spider-Man, and Toy Story in the top 3. So at one way, basically the box office is owned by the Mouse House.
In all 3 of their major things that they own right now, besides Star Wars.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Avengers Endgame, number 1 of all time. I didn't think it was going to happen, but apparently
a pre-res Incredible Hulk is worth going to the theater to go see.
Well, yeah.
I guess.
A pre-PS2 Incredible Hulk.
So how long before we think this will be topped? I'm already going to look to the future. What will top this?
I don't know.
The Avatar re-release, technically, I guess. But
Probably the Avatar release.
They're just going to keep...
No. What they'll probably do when Avatar 2 finally hits the screen, they'll probably do a run, re-release it back in theaters again, and it's just gonna be a fight.
At that point, then Disney's just chasing themselves.
Yeah, because they'll release.
Do you
Endgame
think
again
they
and-
care at
No,
this point?
no, they don't. That's all about the Benjamins.
I will say, I
now.
think it's more. I'm not here to shit on Marvel or anything, but I think
Yeah,
it's,
you are.
No,
Do it.
a little bit. But I think it's more impressive that Avatar hit this amount than it is Avengers, because Avengers had 20 movies.
They had a
build
lot
up
of
to
build-
it,
they had
and
years
Avatar
of
was
build up.
basically like, I'm Jim Cameron. I made Titanic. And I almost invented new technology to make this, and that's what got it there. So I'm not. I mean, it's impressive that Avengers got here still, but I'm more impressed with Avatar.
I would have to agree.
Holding on to getting there and holding on to it, and having such a huge box office to begin with. Was it 2.7 or what is it at?
2.78.
2.78.
Yeah.
That's huge.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money for having no property before it.
Well, then it looks like more of the percentage belongs to the foreign market for Avatar than it does for Avengers.
But, okay.
Not by much,
Okay.
but basically enough.
So I'm really curious to see what happens with Avatar 2, because I have a feeling it's not going to be as big as the first
Oh,
one.
it won't be.
But
I think it's been too long.
yeah,
but-
I'm really curious.
But
It's still going to make a lot of money.
It's going to
You
make a
think
lot
so?
of money.
It's not going to make. I'm going to say it'll cross the $2 billion. It won't.
do you think
It
so
won't
for
get
real,
to the
though?
top 3 though.
Do you think Avatar's that big? Has
Internationally, yes. And the other thing too is that the reason why I think that Avatar is one of those movies that Cameron's been before it even came out, he'd been trying to make for years. But like you just said, it was all about. He basically created the technology to make that movie, and he's doing that again with the sequels.
All right.
Because one of the things he's been working on is mocap underwater.
But
and mocap is all about light sensors.
yeah, but you could make the same argument about Alita Battle Angel, because he basically did everything for that and then handed the reins over to
Well,
Rob.
it's because at
but
that point
that didn't do nowhere near as much as.
Not domestically.
But what about internationally?
Internationally, it crushed.
But it didn't do Avatar numbers.
Well, no, but it's not Avatar.
But it's essentially James Cameron. So do you think his name sells then? Do you think it's
yeah.
James Cameron? Oh.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, he
And-
threw
well,
his name
then-
on that freaking Terminator Genesis and shit, and that
yeah.
still sort of made some money.
And I was going to say, at least for Alita Battle Angel, though, United States is not the market for that movie.
Yeah.
As much as I love that movie, we are not the market. That is more of the Asian market.
Yeah, I watched that this weekend. It was okay, I guess.
I liked it for being something different.
Yeah, I thought not to hijack this, but I thought the end where they were doing the race, where they, the big race, I thought that was really intense. So.
All right, that was our little rant, I guess.
Well,
Yeah,
on
I'm sorry.
James Cameron and Lolita
This is
Battle
why we
Angel.
don't let him drive the bus.
No.
Yeah,
I'm going to be crashing into the wall.
I just put bombs on buses.
Somebody call
That's
Keanu.
my speed
Yeah,
reference.
Yes. All right, let's jump to the news for the week. We got a shit ton of news to talk about, so let's just start with this. We didn't bring this up last week, and that's my fault for not putting it in our notes.
Well, way to go, asshole.
There has been a casting for Invisible Man. I guess we'll maybe see him on the screen. Oliver Jackson Cohen, most known to playing Luke Crane in The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix, the adult version. And he will be playing the Invisible Man in Lee Winnell's reboot.
Was he the guy with the drug addiction?
Yes.
Okay, he was really good in that show.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you're like, maybe we'll see him on the screen.
Yes, I'm glad you caught the joke.
That was, I didn't get that at first, but that's touche.
But at the same time, though, too, if the Invisible Man was literally going to be invisible the whole time, they wouldn't have to cast anybody.
That's true.
Except a voice.
Except Johnny Depp, I guess. But we don't talk about that one anymore. They're done with that.
Yes.
No, I like this casting. He's really good in Haunting of Hill House. He's one of my favorite characters. He does a really good job playing that. And I'm glad he's getting more, like, getting into mainstream recognition with this. Like, I think he's a good actor to fit into Lee Winnell's version of the Invisible Man.
I would agree.
You agree?
Yeah, I'm excited.
I can't say much because I haven't seen Haunting of Hill House yet.
Especially after like how well directed Upgrade was. I'm really curious to see what he can do with some of those same camera tricks in The Invisible Man.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he can do. Let's jump to the next piece of casting news. Austin Butler has been cast as Elvis Presley in Baz Luhrmann's biopic of one of the greatest singers, performers of all time.
So now that Baz Luhrmann's getting into the biopic business, are you, because people have a very love-hate relationship with his movies, do you feel that this is a good synergy?
This is more suited for his style. Yeah, like I know where you were going with that question, but yes, I think this more suits his style. He likes to stylistically use music within his films.
Are you not a Baz Luhrmann fan?
No, I'm not.
I freaking love Baz Luhrmann.
I do too. I'm a huge Baz Luhrmann fan.
No, but I think
you
this
got to
is
respect the Australians.
I respect that it is his stylistic choice. It just doesn't work for me. Where it will work is within a movie that is about music. I think that's going to fit perfectly.
What movies of his aren't about music though? Other than
none of them.
The Great Gatsby. Moulin Rouge is about music.
Well, yeah, but
Romeo and Juliet.
I mean, no, but
he's very eccentric he's very. You know how with like James Gunn, when he wrote the scripts, he had certain songs specifically in mind.
I didn't know that, but
yes,
I believe you. Yeah,
but that's the same way with like even with The Great Gatsby. It's very heavily centric on.
Yeah, no, I've seen it. It's a great movie.
Well, no,
yeah.
but I mean, like for instance, goes through like for instance, like Jay-Z executive produced, went through specific to get certain music and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's 2 soundtracks to Romeo and Juliet. There's 2 for Moulin Rouge.
Yeah.
You know. I think probably the only one doesn't have that much soundtrack behind is probably like Strictly Ballroom.
Or else Australia.
Yeah.
Which I've not seen.
So what do you guys think about? I don't know who this kid is.
I don't know who this is.
Is he like a CW actor?
No.
That's what he looks like.
Well, I don't know if he's CW, but the funny thing is I immediately looked at him, I'm like, I know this guy. Why do I know this guy, right?
He was in Yoga Hosers.
He was in Yoga Hosers.
Which I have not seen. He looking at his picture, like he just looks like perfect casting for Elvis Presley.
He does look like a young Elvis.
He was in Arrow. He was in Aliens in the Attic for kids movie a while back.
All those fans, yeah.
He's in Once Upon a Time.
Once Upon a Time. That's the other thing I recognize him from.
Oh.
So I mean, he's. That's one thing I like is, for the sake of Yoga Hosers, for those that don't like it, that's the kind of thing where it's like, I'm going to go make the movies I want to make. So, this is probably one of those kind of attached things where he's like, oh, I get to be Elvis Presley in a Baz Luhrmann movie.
Yeah.
How awesome would that be? Of course, that's not the kind of thing you say no like this. He probably doesn't have a huge role in a Tarantino movie, but hey, you get to be in a Tarantino movie.
Right.
You're goddamn right.
You're not going to say
you don't say no.
Right. Yeah, I'm excited about this. I'm a big Baz Luhrmann fan. I'm not a big Elvis fan, so I'm not going to rush to see it. But this just seems like absolutely.
Oh, like you said, he's got to look for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you are going to look at like who would play Elvis, this kid looks like Elvis, and then if you're looking at like what director would take on an Elvis movie, I think this would be.
The question is this kid actually going to sing in the movie, or if they're going to dub his voice? That's where I'm curious.
He better sing.
Yeah, I hope he sings. I like movies a little better when they do
right,
that.
Because like Joaquin Phoenix and Walk the Line, like for me, he didn't sound terribly a lot like Johnny Cash, but for a movie, like he nailed. What you needed for Johnny Cash, and I thought he did a great job at that. So I would love that for this movie. It's just the essence of Elvis Presley.
Mm-hmm.
All right, should we move on to Comic-Con news? We got a lot of it to talk about, so let's start off with some Terminator Dark Fate news. Edward Furlong will be back for Terminator Dark Fate.
I love this.
Yes.
I do. For as many different iterations of John Connor we've had, being that this is the direct sequel to Terminator 2, it's only justified and right to bring back the same people to reprise their roles. Mm-hmm. Even though, has anybody heard of Edward Furlong in the last 15 years?
Yeah, he's done a lot of a lot of issues he's been dealing with, unfortunately.
Well, and hopefully maybe he's on the right track, and that's
Yeah.
why James Cameron wants to bring him back. Maybe this will be the movie that helps correct the ship, because
James Cameron has nothing with him coming back. He just slapped his name on it because he came up with Terminator.
That's not what I heard.
no,
I heard he was heavily involved in all of this.
I don't think so.
Oh, what?
He
for Dark
also
Fate?
promoted Genesis like crazy too, and he had nothing to do with it. I think
I
he's
heard-
busy with a little
I heard
Avatar
some
movies.
stuff, and we can talk about it off air about this, but
He was, well, at least for the announcement though, that was straight from James Cameron from Hall H from a live stream.
Yeah, but they're like,
But-
all right, James, can you come talk to us for a little while?
Right.
It's not going to be that hard.
I mean, I guess I don't care for this casting, but it makes sense. I just like Edward Furlong. I like him in Terminator 2, like he's really good, but I don't see him as like an actor. He just seemed like that was a lightning in a bottle casting type of thing, where he never acted before, but they got him, and he works great for that movie. But I haven't seen him in anything else and been like, yeah, man, I really enjoy
American
watching.
History X.
He's fine in it, but that's the Edward Norton show, you know, like.
My thing is, like, I like this casting. I like that he's back as John Connor. I'm just wondering why it took so long. Like, this seems like the logical choice. He should have gone back in Terminator 3.
Yeah.
Like, just brought him back then.
I
Like,
think
why
that's-
is it taking so
I think
long?
it's because of his off-screen issues he was
Yeah,
having.
I think it's
Yeah.
that.
But that's why I'm glad to see him back because,
Yeah.
like, if you get stuck with that certain character and that actor playing them, you're like, anyone else that plays him, like, that's not John Connor.
Yeah.
Right.
So that makes sense. Like, if you're going straight from the continuity of 1 and 2 to jump into this one, it
Yeah.
only makes sense.
I
to
sort of
cast
wish they
him.
hadn't announced it, and like you just go into the theater
And you
then
go and you
it's
have
like,
and you have
oh
the
my
holy
God,
shit
it's
moment.
Edward
Yeah.
Furlong. Yeah, I wish that had happened, but that's not what we live in anymore. That this society is all about rooting.
I mean, come
No,
on.
it's all about people on a podcast talking about
Yeah.
the
He
news.
keeps bringing up Genesis, and they ruined the whole John Connor is one of the Terminators right in the trailer, before
yeah.
you even get to the
Yeah.
theater. I'm like, that would have been like a good oh shit moment. No,
Yeah.
you don't put that shit in the trailer. You're like, well, now I don't have to see it anymore.
Yeah, I suppose.
No, I think it's excellent casting, and it's good to see him back in the movie. All right, we got a bunch of trailers to talk about, so let's just jump into it. Let's just start with Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Yes. I don't care that it's probably going to... The way he's going about it, my butt will either be in Iowa or be in Minnesota to go see that on the road show.
Yeah, so he will be doing a roadshow with Jason Mewes, traveling across the country doing different screenings for the film. So that's basically how you're going to have to see it before it releases on VOD.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I want to be there. I enjoyed the trailer. It looks straight up like a sequel to Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yes.
That is one of my favorites, within the View Askew universe movies. And
it obviously, the trailer's playing heavily on all the cameos and whatnot.
yeah.
That's one thing I liked about the original one. I've always been a fan of Kevin Smith movies, and so just finally being able to see this come to fruition, I'm super excited. After having done the Q&A screening roadshow that he did for Red State, when I saw that it was getting anywhere near here, I'm in.
Blake, thoughts?
I didn't think the trailer looked that good, but this isn't one of those movies where you need a good trailer. It's more like,
This is more-
this is that character that I love. Or, like, this is a poop fart weed joke that we can throw into a trailer. So, like, I'm also not a huge Kevin Smith fan. Like, I respect what he's done with it, with like how he got started and what he's been able to do with his universe. So I'm not the target audience, but I'll still see it because my wife's a big fan of his movies and Jay specifically. So
This almost seemed like a cameo teaser trailer.
yeah. I love the opening where the cop get whatever he said, like,
And he pulls the Buffalo Bill.
Tucks it in again.
The F-bomb comes out and they play the Sounds of the Lamb song. Yeah.
Chris, you're quiet over there.
I'm with Blake probably.
Oh, my boy over here.
I don't know jack shit about Kevin Smith and his movies and
They're good. They're really good movies.
Yeah.
Chasing Amy.
Chasing Amy.
Sucks.
What? No.
Sucks.
What?
No.
Whoa.
I hate
No.
Chasing Amy.
Chris, you just lost my boy privileges. That's the best
Yes,
Kevin Smith movie.
That is. Oh, we will fight about that off air.
Maybe
Man.
there goes the millennial again.
No, I might
that
fight
hurt.
him too, actually.
I love Chasing Amy
I do
so
too.
much. Oh, that hurt.
Oh, man. I can't continue on,
I
actually.
don't know. Maybe it's just the girl in the movie. Her voice just
She,
nails on a
she does
chalkboard.
she's got the Eddie Furlong thing going on, yeah. But
I did.
All right, well,
Okay, let's move on.
Let's move on
before there's.
I want to ask the question on this trailer. What's everybody's favorite cameo out of it?
Thor.
We get the Hemsworth cameo. Mine's Jason Biggs. Because I just like that they bring back Jason Biggs. And he says,
and
Kevin fucking Smith.
and Vanderbeek sitting right next to him.
I like just because they're huge actors now. I like the guy. You got Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. back.
Yeah.
And
And it's been pretty
It's
hidden
cool
on
that
those
they,
two.
Right. It's
that they're gonna
pretty
be in
cool
the
that
movie.
they come back to their roots. Like, okay, we'll still help out our friends.
Well,
and stuff.
and from the trailer, it almost looks like Matt Damon is reprising his role from Dogma. Like he's got straight up hoodie going on, and it looks like he's in a church pew.
Yeah.
But on top of that, no, actually, Blunt Man. Which one is Jay's character? Why am I drawing a blank all of a sudden?
Blunt Man is Kevin Smith.
Okay, so then
is
Chronic.
Jason Mewes.
So the fact that
Supergirl is playing
that Melissa Bonet is playing Chronic in the reboot, I get an absolute kick out of the gender bend.
And I like the title of it, Blunt Man versus Chronic.
Yeah.
Ben is gonna say something in this movie.
Well, at this point now, how many Batmen are we going to get in this movie? Because we've got 2.
I don't know. Could we keep going? George Clooney?
Oh my god, that'd be hilarious. I would love to see Clooney just pop in for just a quick second, make a Batman joke. Like a Batman nipple joke and be done and just be out.
Or twist Batman nipples. Yes.
I think more so than Clooney, I'd love to see Val Kilmer make a cameo.
He is.
He's in it.
Oh, Val Kilmer's
Yes.
In the trailer.
I started watching it, and then like my daughter did something, so I had to look away, and so I missed about 20 seconds of the preview.
when they showed like the movie part of it, and where it's Blunt Man and Chronic. Chronic is Melissa Bonet, which is Supergirl.
I don't know.
And Blunt Man is Val Kilmer.
Oh my god.
So Batman is playing the
Okay,
fictional
I changed my mind.
lead
This trailer is
Batman.
actually pretty damn amazing.
You're sitting there going, shit, I gotta go back and rewatch this.
I might have to. Yeah.
Let's talk about a sequel to another Val Kilmer movie, Top Gun Maverick.
I hope he's in it. I do.
Do we need an Iceman cameo?
Yes.
He's in the cast list.
I think he is in it.
Really?
He's in the cast list. Yeah.
Probably
Are we
not.
going to get a volleyball scene with?
Yeah. It's in
with
the trailer.
Val
Did you watch the
No,
trailer?
with Val Kilmer.
Oh.
Yeah, I hope so.
So
I don't know. He looks a little old and wrinkly. I don't know if I want to see that.
I am not a fan of the original Top Gun.
You're
but
weird.
this trailer is incredible. Like
It looks
it's
good.
I'm pretty sure he's actually flying these planes. Like
He is.
Oh, that
like these are
Tom
not,
is fucking
these-
crazy. He will
these-
fly a fucking
but
airplane
even
for
like
this.
the long shots. There's no way these are CGI planes. Like these got to be the real thing.
Yeah.
And it looks incredible. Like, oh, this trailer is all hype. I just wish they had played the Danger Zone song at some point, but maybe in the next one they will.
That is my biggest problem with the trailer. I'm like, you had so many times where you could have just started playing the Kenny Loggins Danger Zone.
Yeah,
And they didn't go for it.
Yeah, but
And
they also modified the theme,
I
too.
give them props for that though.
for
not relying on the nostalgia.
No, I agree. But
They do play the score, which Top Gun has a really good score.
Right, but you noticed that it was modified.
Yes,
though.
yeah. And I'm glad that they did. There's different shots, with him putting on the sunglasses, riding the motorcycle.
his jacket has more patches on it.
Yep. The volleyball scene that we all know and love now.
Yeah.
I love the fact that they're, he's like, Ed Harris is like, you could be this, but you're only this, and, you should be dead by now.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited for it
I'm
because
hyped
it's
for
going to be
this.
completely different than that 80s
Yeah, and
Top
I'm a
Gun
Miles
movie.
Teller fan, so I'm excited to see what he can do in this universe too. So
Are we going to hand it off? Are we passing the baton?
I doubt it.
Is Maverick dead? Will he die?
No, Maverick won't die.
It's in Tom Cruise's contract. He can never die in a movie.
I think for him to die in a movie, he actually has to die in real life,
While
which
shooting
is
the
probably
movie.
the next Mission Impossible
Yeah.
movie.
Well, I've already broke my ankle. Might as well go for the gold.
So let's talk about a couple of horror things here in the middle. First is the Cats trailer. Oh my god.
I'm with Chris on this. After you guys were talking about it, I'm like, all right, let me check this out. I could not unsee that.
That is the scariest thing they released at Comic-Con this year.
It was at Comic-Con?
Yeah, that's why all this has been
Oh, I
coming
thought
out.
it was just like the trailer got released.
No, that's why all
Imagine
this.
going to Comic-Con and being like, yeah, I'm going to go see
I'm
the
gonna
Cats
go to
panel.
the Cats panel, yeah. Taylor Swift's going to be there. What the
get-
fuck were they thinking?
oh,
I mean,
that's not even. The fact that we finally got a Cats movie, I'm not surprised. For as
Right.
big as that Broadway musical is, that does not surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that how disturbing this movie looks,
it's going to make so much money.
and then the people that
Really?
they got
I
to
think
be as a part of this movie,
Right, that's-
like I'm looking at Idris Elba, I'm like, wow, what did they proposition you with to say yes? Like, a couple of these people, I expect, like Jennifer Hudson, I could see that. Taylor Swift, I could see that.
There's one person I'm thinking of that I'm...
There you're saying no.
Yeah.
Which one?
Judi Dench.
Yes.
I mean, like, she's great, but like...
Why?
Oh, man.
No.
These are scary.
She's like the first one I recognized right away, too.
Yeah, I recognize. But oh, man. I having said all this, I think it's going to make a ton of money. I think it's going to have 10 plus Oscar nominations.
It's definitely
gonna
not
be huge.
It's definitely not our demographic.
No, it's not mine. Yeah.
But
I know the history of the cat. Like, everyone loves it, and this has been coming for a long time. And is it Tom Hooper is directing it?
Yes.
Who is good at this? I mean, it's going to deliver. Like, there's going to be songs, and James Corden's going to promote it a lot. So I think it's going to be a big movie.
Oh yeah, James Corden's gonna be like, so at the end of the show, of every show that I do from here until it releases,
you
I'm
play
gonna
this
talk about
creepy ass Cats trailer.
He's gonna have every damn cast member on his show for like 2 weeks promoting this.
Yep.
Yeah, you convinced me that it will make money now.
Oh yeah.
Did you guys watch the behind the scenes featurette they released like?
Dude, I could barely get through the trailer. You
Yeah.
want me to watch more?
No, they released it like 2 days before the trailer.
Okay.
And it was a great behind the scenes featurette, and like so I watched.
Are
that
they all just wearing like the mocap suits? I'm sure.
nothing. They were
Wait,
just
they're
like
motion
just
cap?
in their sweats, like they were just like rehearsing and practicing.
You know, behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But it was a really well put together, and I watched that. I'm like, fuck yeah, I can't wait for the trailer. Then I watched the trailer. I'm like, oh my god,
Fucking
God.
terrifying. They're
It
terrifying.
is really
They're
scary. Yeah, it's. Yeah.
Like, imagine opening your closet in the middle of the night and there's James Corden as a cat. Like, I'd shit my pants.
There's a few people out there that are gonna open up that closet door and be like, "Hi."
Yeah, we don't talk about those, Brian. Let's jump to another actual scary movie trailer. We got a new and final trailer for It Chapter 2.
I did not watch this.
I refuse to watch it.
I did watch it, so there we go.
I guess you guys aren't going to talk about it.
Well,
I'm not the horror person. And I watched it.
But that's why I didn't watch it.
mine is the refusal of not. You know, it's something
They already
I
got
want
your
to go
money.
see. They
Yeah,
got my
yeah.
money. I don't need the trailer, and I don't want to have something potentially foreshadowed or ruined for me.
I often wonder if movies this big even need promoting.
I do.
Avengers didn't. I'll tell you that.
You're not wrong.
I don't know. I enjoyed the trailer. I think it just gets me more hype for the movie
Yeah.
that I was already going to see.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll see it.
Bill Skarsgård is terrifying in it, obviously. And
Very
this
terrifying.
they
I
do.
think he's miscast as Pennywise.
You think he's miscast?
Yeah, I don't think he's that.
Would
good.
you like to go for the original?
Who's the original?
Before it went into
Tim
development?
Kirk-
No.
Was
No,
it
no,
Will
no,
Poulter?
no,
It was
that-
Will Poulter,
the
wasn't
Will
it?
Poulter.
Yes.
I really wanted to
Yeah.
see that. And I did.
I
When
think he would have
When
been
that
good.
casting came out, I was like, that's a really good choice.
I think it would have been good, but I do like Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah, I don't think he's bad. I'm like, so 50-50 on him.
I think all the adult casting is super on point. They do shots in the trailer where they like morph from the child actor into the adult one, and like you can see it every time.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Like
Yeah.
that's what's going to draw the crowds for this. Like they're still going to have these child actors that you liked in the first movie, and then perfect casting for the new group.
I agree.
I don't know. I'm in for it.
I'm
Yeah, I'll see it.
You're
I'm in.
You're actually
The
gonna go
non-horror
see this?
guy is in.
You're gonna. Did you see chapter 1?
I definitely saw it, but I can't remember if I saw it in theaters or out of theaters. But I definitely saw
I
it.
just would have assumed no.
Oh, I saw it.
Wow.
I liked it.
I'm semi impressed
I
by
didn't
this,
like it,
Chris.
but-
Oh, I did see it. I saw Westmall 7. I remember now.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna go see
It
this.
was
Not at full price, but I'm gonna go see it.
I have a friend like that who's like, I'm dying to see that, but I'm not paying full price for it. He waits weeks to it's Westmall.
All right, last piece of horror news here before we jump to,
Yeah,
of
you
course,
nerd.
the Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends have been announced by Blumhouse for October 2020 and 2021 to end off this little Blumhouse trilogy.
Are those the official titles?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my god.
What do you think of these titles?
I love it. I love that there's a movie that with kills in the title. Like,
Machete Kills.
yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. But like, that's what I'm saying. Like, name another movie with kills in the title. Yeah, it's cool. And Hollywood Ends.
Kill Bill.
Kill Bill, thank you. Speaking of.
We'll talk about that
I like
later.
it, Chris. I like it.
But, you know, putting ends in a horror movie title. Like,
It's never true.
Yeah, you're really treading some waters there.
Yeah.
But,
Like Saw Final Chapter.
Anything
you
final chapter ends, like anything definitive end of a saga
Yeah.
is not true.
No.
yeah, I agree. I'm excited. The first one was really well done, I thought.
If this is like Blumhouse's version of like Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, where it's Halloween ends for the sake of it's the end of this specific saga.
I hear you. Yeah, because this will never end. So when we were talking through a message the other day, and I said, I hope this is the end. Like I meant that. Hope this is the end of this iteration, and they can do whatever they want. But the first Halloween, the first one that David Gordon Green did was really well done, and I would love to see what they can do with 2 more.
Yeah,
John Carpenter's back too for the score.
For the score, yeah. Which is the score in the 2018 Halloween is great. Like I just wish they had a different title for that one. I wish they would have gone with Halloween Returns as their original title for it. I'm like, why do we need 2 movies called Halloween and then now you're doing the different titles?
Yeah,
Halloween Kills, I think it's an interesting choice for the second one.
I wish the third one was called Season of the Witch, but that's just me.
Maybe we'll get some sort of Season of the Witch
Maybe.
crossover at the end. Jameson's little script will end up over at Blumhouse, and that'll happen. Yeah. I'm excited for it. Like, obviously, I enjoyed that Halloween movie. There were some problems with it, but it's a Halloween movie. It's better than 98% of the other sequels. So,
Chris, did you like this movie?
I didn't see it.
You didn't see it.
No.
Now this
I like the original.
You gotta watch it. This new one's not as good, obviously, but it's very, very. Good.
It's better than some of its predecessors.
It's better than most of them. Yeah.
It's better than any of the other remakes, sequels of classic horror franchises.
Yeah, I agree with that.
This is one of those horror franchises I wish would have been with one singular studio, so then that way when I can go like buy them on digital, they're uniform, because they're not, and it's a pain in my ass.
But now when you buy it, it's going to be Halloween, Halloween, Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends. So that's how you have to buy it. Yeah. All right, let's jump to this Marvel news because we got a whole lot of stuff to talk about with...
You didn't even put them all on here.
Just, these are the ones that they didn't announce beforehand.
Shang-Chi they did.
Yeah, but not the actual title for the movie. Let's start with that. Shang-Chi, Legend of the Ten Rings. They have announced the official title and casting for the film.
Yes.
First of all, what do we think of the title?
I love it.
I was going to say, as a guy who's not familiar with the source, I don't have a good response to that. I'm gonna go to the theater and go see it because I am an MCU, take my money kind of person. I know Chris is too, so we're gonna go regardless, whatever the hell they call it.
I can give you a little bit of a rumor I heard is that the Mandarin in the movie is going to be the father of Shang-Chi. That's what I've heard.
There is heavy speculation, and I think this is pretty much true. Like, the Mandarin is the villain in the movie. Like, the actual Mandarin.
Who's playing the Mandarin?
Tony
Leung?
Mm-hmm.
I might be yelling on this now. Because I'm a huge Tony Leung fan.
And they're going straight up. This is going to be a martial arts movie.
Like, this is really smart casting.
Go back to the other casting.
Tony Leung is like Tom Cruise in China. Like, this dude is huge.
So that's what I've heard. No, have you seen his Twitter here recently?
Yeah.
Because there was a... Who's this dude?
He's going to be playing the main character.
Samulo? Okay.
Yeah. Yes. So, no, I came across this earlier today. Sometime back in, last December, he put a tweet out saying, hey, Marvel, so what about all the stuff that's going on, right? And then he reads, so about that, and he was commenting back to himself, whatever. I'm like, that is hilarious.
He called out Marvel on Twitter, saying, hey, if you're doing Shang-Chi, let me do it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then now, a year later...
But Tony Leung's the bad guy?
Yeah, supposed to be the Mandarin.
The IMDb has him listed as the Mandarin.
I saw the screen at Hall H when they had him up on screen.
There? No, he wasn't.
No, but up on screen and whatnot, they have him listed as the Mandarin, so that is accurate.
Yep. That's amazing. I might go see this.
I'm excited for it because I hated what they did with the Mandarin in Iron Man 3.
I loved it. I thought it was amazing.
I hated it, but if it makes sense now going into this movie where you get the real one and that one's a fake and it's all going to connect, I think it'll work this way.
I want to see Ben Kingsley come in and get his ass kicked.
I think it'll work. There is a little short film where they do introduce that there is a real Mandarin and they take Ben Kingsley out of jail.
Yep.
To have him face this Mandarin. If they start off the movie with that, him getting fucking decapitated...
They might not quite go that far.
They need to make the Mandarin brutal. He needs to be a fucking badass.
Oh, they will.
I mean, they decapitated a guy in one of the Star Wars movies. They can decapitate someone in a Marvel movie.
Count Dooku.
So I'm excited for it. I'm glad we're actually getting more of this 10 ring stuff, I guess.
I don't know what this is, but yeah, I'm excited for it now too.
So this is something introduced in the first Iron Man movie. They're still going all the way full circle with these Marvel movies. So the next one we should bring up, Doctor Strange will be teaming up with Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So Scott Derrickson will be returning to direct, and I'm fucking excited for this one.
I did notice that, with the exception of like some of the newer properties, it was all returning director, which I absolutely applaud after some of the potential mishaps of, like Thor, when your direction changes because your director has a different vision than the original one. To bring Taika back, to bring everybody back who's already worked on the franchise before.
Who has a definitive look on those characters. They know those characters. That's where they're going to focus on. And I'm glad Scott Derrickson is back. This is described as Marvel's first horror film.
Yep.
And I like that. Like, I think Doctor Strange can go more into that cosmic, weird magic and mysticism stuff. So I'm glad they're doing that. And adding Scarlet Witch to his side is perfect.
Well, what else has Elizabeth Olsen got going on?
This little thing called WandaVision, I guess.
Okay, so
I hate that title.
So same character.
Yep. So let's kind of segue into those Disney Plus things. They also announced like the WandaVision, there's a Hawkeye series, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then the Marvel animated What If.
I'm intrigued that the Winter Soldier and Falcon one are also bringing back Daniel Bruhl
as Baron Zemo.
Yes,
one of my favorite Marvel villains. I could use more of him, but he needs to wear his purple ski mask. Otherwise, it's a fail.
He wasn't a fail last time.
No, he was a good villain, but he needs the purple ski mask just because it's cool. And they have announced that he will be wearing. I don't want to spoil Endgame. Never mind. Let's just.
Please.
Ooh, caught myself. That was a good one.
Hey, at least you didn't say who he is.
Yes, I didn't. So, or what he's wearing. He's wearing a thong. That's what it is. Let's jump to Taika Waititi has been announced as a returning director for Thor 4 called Thor: Love and Thunder. So this will be the return of Natalie Portman to the series. And
there's no way that they weren't going to have the success of Ragnarok and not be like, Taika, screw you, man. You know,
like, how much money you want, we'll give it to you.
Yeah.
I just hope it's not the same thing as Ragnarok. Like, I don't want another Ragnarok. I want something as lively, but I just love that little singular movie, Because I think the first two Thor movies are, like, really bad. And so, like, when this one came in, I was like, all right, I guess I'll watch it. And I was completely blown away by how entertaining it, like, just how much, like, spunk it had to it,
Well, I think there's a couple things behind that. The first thing is that Chris Hemsworth in the first Thor is still kind of new to all of this.
I think he's good in the movie.
Well, no, but what I'm saying, though, is by the time we got to Ragnarok, he's already played Thor for so long. He's finally kind of gotten into his skin kind of thing.
He's also
to marry him up with Taika, though, I think is what did it. Yeah. Because I rewatched, it was on TV one time, and the only thing I could not look at was his eyebrows.
In the first Thor?
Oh my god, it was so bad.
Yeah. No, I agree.
You go back and rewatch.
I'm going back and rewatching all the Marvel movies, and I have not hit. It actually might be my next one that I'm watching, but
look for the eyebrows, I guess.
And I'll look for eyebrows. Yeah.
Thor Ragnarok is one of the best MCU movies, so I'm excited to see Taika back. Like Blake said, it doesn't need to be the same thing, but take that same Taika Waititi flair and then add it to this, and they're going a totally different direction because they did announce that this will be Lady Thor. Natalie Portman will be playing Lady Thor in this movie. And Taika seems really excited about that, even more than Natalie Portman. She kind of seemed very mad.
She's there for the paycheck.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
I kind of wish they would have recast her, but maybe Taika can get something different out of her. We'll see.
Yeah.
There you go. You cannot unsee that now.
I guess I don't. Okay.
They had to blonde him up. I'm glad they fixed that.
Bleached his eyebrows. All right, let's jump to one of my favorite news pieces out of this. We have a casting for the one vampire killer, Blade. Right. Mahershala Ali will be playing Blade at some point in the Marvel Universe, at a yet undetermined film, TV series, whatever it may be, but he has been cast as Blade.
I'm okay with this. but
just okay.
Yeah,
Well-
it's fine. I just love Wesley Snipes as Blade. So
yeah,
but it's good cast. Like I immediately thought of like the image of Wesley Snipes wearing the black dark glasses and the get up, and I'm like, I could easily picture Mahershala Ali as
agreed.
as Blade. So as long as they keep like a lot of the cool music that they did in the first 2 or 3,
I think they should set it in the 90s.
I think I'd be okay with it, but we'll see. I'm not a huge Blade fan either, but
No, I think this is. I mean,
it's
if
good
you're
casting.
not going to bring back Wesley Snipes, this is
he's
the best thing
he's
you
too
could have
old
done.
to do it anyway. Is probably
Mahershala is probably right around the same age.
no way.
no, this is Boss Logic.
Oh,
I don't know what that is, but
Well, Boss Logic is an artist who has worked directly with Marvel and whatnot, but no, this was his
Yeah.
mock-up of
that's
him and then of Angelina for the Eternals.
I have no point of reference for that. So
I don't either.
no one does.
Nobody does.
Even a comic book expert that we brought on, Alex Pastrallo, doesn't know.
Right.
Calling him out.
interesting.
Come on, comic book expert.
Expert.
And I mentioned this here before you guys got in. The one thing about this is just because I don't know is this the rights getting reverted back to Marvel from New Line and Warner Brothers, or is this Warner Brothers New Line getting in bed with Marvel like Sony did with Spider-Man?
Oh, the rights definitely reverted back.
I think, I want to say they did a while ago or something like
Well, because
that.
wasn't-
At least the TV ones did.
Well, and that's where I was curious
I guess
because
I
it
didn't
hasn't been that super long since even the TV series.
I didn't realize there was a big fan base for this. Unless they're
I
just
think it's because of those Wesley Snipes movies.
yeah.
Oh, yes.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, I think you're right.
And like I'm a fan of those. If they keep some of this like stylistic things that they did with those, maybe
Yeah,
just give.
Who's gonna? Do they have a director?
No,
for it?
I wasn't about to say let's let Guillermo del Toro
Right,
return
that's
exactly
right?
what I
because
was gonna
Blade
say.
2 was one of the best comic book movies ever made. I love
it's
Blade
it's
2.
better. Than,
Well, you don't want
it's a-
Dominic Purcell to come back as Dracula?
No, we need a new Dracula too. Please
It's-
redo Dracula.
Yeah, Blade 2 is definitely the best of that series.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. They haven't said in what capacity he will be playing Blade in. If it'll be a series, pop up in a different movie, whatever it may be. But I'm excited for it.
Well, and being the fact we're talking multiverse, it brings in a perfect opportunity to basically bring the vampire into the already established universe without screwing everything up either. But I also did when I saw this casting, the first thing I thought was this is literally the last nail in the coffin that basically says that the Netflix series are zero canon to the MCU
Yeah.
because he's Cottonmouth in Luke Cage.
They have recast other people, not as big as Mahershala Ali,
Right.
but yeah, they never really counted those in the first place.
No. They never did. But this is like for me because he is the person he is and he's got the name he has. It's like, well, there literally is the fine line drawn right in the sand.
Well, what it seems like, this is a passion project for Mahershala. Like, he's the one that called Marvel
Yep.
and Kevin Feige. And Kevin Feige is like, if Mahershala Ali calls you, you take that meeting. And he was probably like, I want to play Blade. All right.
At the same time, too.
Show up to Comic-Con. We'll give you a Blade hat. You're Blade.
How many of those people are in those movies and be like, Kevin Feige's on the phone? Now.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I think it'll be fun. He'll be a good casting choice. We'll see what happens with him. They have also confirmed that they are in the works for Fantastic Four and X-Men in some capacity. Nothing besides that.
Together or just in general?
In general.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything out of this Marvel spiel? Did I get it all?
No, because we basically kind of glossed over the Disney stuff.
They already announced that stuff. Like, I don't know why they had to bring it up again, but it seems like...
Well, I think
Like,
they
the fact
brought
that-
it up because they are literally giving you the timeline.
the fact that this is like, hey, this is Phase 4 and we're including these 4... Is it 4 series? 5
Well,
series?
Winter Soldier, Loki, WandaVision, Hawkeye, What If. So at least
So
five.
5. So 5 series that are going to be part of Phase 4, so they'll be part of that timeline, I guess.
Is there anything that was released for Phase 4 that you're surprised that there isn't other things that have been announced for Phase 4?
Out of all these, no, not really.
They
Like,
didn't say anything about Spider-Man yesterday.
Well, so that's where that's what I was thinking is there's nothing talking about Spider-Man where we're going to be in the next few years. Because Tom Holland's only going to get older, and I legit expected something out of Black Panther.
They said.
they said pretty much everything's set up for a sequel with Black Panther.
Well, no,
Captain Marvel.
But that's what I'm saying though is to literally wait until Phase 5 to bring in a Black Panther 2 when it's one of your top grossing movies of all time in there outside of the Avengers?
This isn't all of Phase 4. I think this is honestly just the first half of Phase 4. Like the stuff they
remember
announced.
how long Phase 3 is? It's like 12 movies long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's only like 3 years.
I think 2022 and 2023 would be like the second half of Phase 4.
My guess is they won't be doing an Avengers movie for a while, and they'll fill it in with these other movies. Because like Black Panther can make $1 billion. Why?
Yep.
Why do they need to bring all these people in for an Avengers movie if Black Panther can make that money?
Right.
So I don't know. That was all the news that we have for this. Any final thoughts on the MCU or any of these news talks?
Blake, I wish you had seen Avengers Endgame because I'd love to say something about the Loki series right now.
I really want to. I mean, listen, this is not from a lack of not wanting to see it. I want to see it. It's just,
you just kind of had a kid in the process.
My daughter was born the weekend it came out, and then once my wife wants to see a movie, I have to wait to see it with her, like no matter what. So this is not the only movie that I'm waiting to see, you know. So I really want to. Sorry, I haven't seen it yet. Hopefully, in the next,
Year?
Century, I get to see it. So and we can spoil it all we want for people.
Yeah, it made me
Chris.
bite our tongues here on the show.
I know.
So
I'm sorry.
Just out of sheer curiosity, Phase 3 goes from mid-16 to mid-19, so 3 years. And that's why I'm like, they only have, a little bit more, so maybe the end of Phase 4, but I'm surprised they didn't go that far out.
I know. I don't know why they didn't.
Unless they're like, well, we need something for San Diego next year.
It's probably
Or D23 probably.
Maybe.
Nah, I suppose that's possible. They can't, unload everything at Comic-Con.
Can't blow their whole load at Comic-Con.
No, but I'm pretty sure there's a few nerds have.
A few nerds did at Hall H, yes. All right, so let's jump into our main...
Clean up an aisle and Hall H.
Where? Take your spot and just start.
Just bleach the whole floor.
They release bleach from the ceiling like they do balloons.
It's like the scene in Blade where they release the blood.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
bleach falling from the sky. Oh, what is happening?
Earning that explicit rating next to the podcast
Yes.
today.
If we're going to have it, we need to fucking use it.
Yeah.
All right, so
You're welcome.
let's jump into our main topic for today. In honor of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, we're going to talk about all 8 of Quentin Tarantino's films.
Do you guys got 8 hours?
About as long as some of his movies are, yes.
Damn.
So basically...
Yeah, go ahead. Jesse.
That reminds me, I have to go back and rewatch the different version of Hateful Eight.
I do too. Because supposedly he himself oversaw everything with that edit.
Doesn't surprise
Did you
me.
think Tarantino would let somebody else touch that shit?
No, wow.
No. That's all Tarantino. Like, I'm gonna do. This is what I'm doing.
All right, let's jump into the game here.
Let's jump into your bad game.
We'll talk about the Hateful Eight.
Ooh, Chris over here getting started. He's all like cracking his neck and shit.
Yeah, Chris just pulled out a katana, so I'm a little scared.
I thought it was weird that he was dressed like Bruce Lee. All right, so basically what we're going to do,
What is going on here?
we have a stack.
Trust me, I don't know.
It'll be fun.
Okay.
So I got to explain this.
Fun.
In front of all of us, we each have a stack of all 8 Quentin Tarantino films written on our paper. Okay? In this hat, we have the numbers 1 through 8. So basically, we're each going to go through, we're each going to pick out 2 numbers out of here. So whoever has the number 8 will start off the conversation with what they think is the 8th best Tarantino film. And we're going to work our way all the way up to number 1.
Okay.
So technically, whoever has number 2 has the choice of what will be number 1.
All right.
Okay.
Okay?
This
was
is interesting.
Yeah. So grab 2. So if you end up with 1 and 2, you're sitting tight. And no one tell what numbers you have. And we are digging these out of a cowboy hat because
you're a nerd and you have a cowboy hat.
he likes
I like
westerns.
the idea of this so far.
We'll see how it goes.
I like you're like so far.
So far.
I don't.
I don't like my number choices, but
Okay.
You picked them.
All right. So we're gonna jump into this. We have 8 films to talk about. Whoever has the number 8's, sheet will go first. They get to pick what will be the 8th film on
and
our
I take
list.
it there is no rearranging this at all.
No There's no changing it. Whatever you draw, that's your spot.
Okay.
I think someone's gonna die today.
Yeah.
I'm already like really upset because I have like
This is almost to the point where it's like we draw the number to how to discuss the movie and then rank it later because I don't think anybody can have the same rank for these movies.
I don't think so either.
It's a collaborative ranking. That's what we're doing.
It's a collaborative bloodbath.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I have like two definitive like
and only in Tarantino fashion could we not have this end in a bloodbath.
Yeah.
It only makes sense.
It would end in a Mexican standoff like, you know, the usual Tarantino movie would. But all right, I guess I'm ready.
And I guess let's just do it right here in the middle of the table so we can kind of see it. Whoever has number 8, lay down the number 8.
Me.
All right.
Number 8.
So you can kind of talk it through whichever one you want to.
Then you got to pull the card out with what you're going to talk about.
And then you got to lay the card down that you want to talk about.
I'm so nervous because there's.
I feel like this shouldn't be a surprise, but maybe it will be. I'm gonna put Death Proof at number 8. Does anybody have a problem with that?
It doesn't matter if they have a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I do, but
anything that would have gone here, I think someone would have had a problem.
that's just it.
Which is why I think it doesn't matter because all of these are someone's favorite movie.
Yeah, exactly.
They're all great movies. It's just he doesn't make bad movies.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about that.
All right, let's start it off. Death Proof. Who wants to kick it off? I haven't seen the movie, so I'm not.
You've never seen it?
I've never seen it. There's 2 on this list I have not seen.
Okay.
That'll be one of them.
This is Tarantino's horror movie. Like if you're a horror fan and a Tarantino fan, this is what you get. You'll never get another horror movie from Tarantino more than likely because this is basically a slasher.
His grindhouse movie.
His slasher grindhouse movie. You know, like it's his weapon of choice is a car. Probably a top 5 Kurt Russell performance, maybe even a top 3 Kurt Russell performance, and it's great because it's sort of ahead of the whole like how do I say this, like equality. You know, we want more women movies like here, and this is
he was showing that they're badass.
And to be fair, he's been doing that with a lot of his movies with Jackie Brown and also obviously Kill Bill. So it's great to see like a group of women kicking butt and sort of like. This whole like flip of how like men are tough and then they're really not compared to women, you know, like because I guess I can't really. Because Casey hasn't seen it, but
I love the fact that he got in such a good working relationship with Zoe Bell that he's like, I'm going to make you more than just the stunt double anymore.
Yep.
Well, she plays herself, which is so.
Well,
great.
no, but she started as a stunt double for.
I understand that, but what's so great is like he cast her as herself.
Right, and which is amazing.
Yeah, and she plays herself as like the stunt double, and you know in the movie. And
No, and probably the part when she's on the hood and they hit the part and she goes lands in the bushes.
Yeah,
and she's like, I'm okay.
Yeah. When I first saw this, I was like, it's okay, but like on rewatches, I think it gets better every time. It's better, well, not better, but like I think it's a really good movie
and a good solid cast. I mean, Elizabeth Winstead, Rosario Dawson.
Who is the other chick in that? The other black girl.
I always remember that her and Rosario were both in Rent.
Sidney Poitier, that's her name. I think I think her name is the exact same as the famous actor.
I was like, really?
But and of course, like a great soundtrack, and then obviously like one of the greatest chase sequences ever filmed. I didn't like this at number 8 is fine for me because it's not like I like there's 2 movies that like for me need to be number 1, number 2. Like there's no question about it. So I'm glad that this is high enough to where like we have a chance of getting these 2 movies at 1 and 2. But I do like this movie a lot, obviously.
I will say this. The main reason why I put it at number 8 is because Quentin Tarantino has said it himself that this is his worst movie.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this was like his first movie that like, because like Tarantino is like, as far as I know, is the only director right now for the past 20 years. Like, you put his name in a movie and people are showing up. Like, he is the star of his movies. Yeah. And when he did this with Robert Rodriguez, like, I was pretty hyped for it because I'm a big fan of these grindhouse movies, and it bombed big time, and
which kind of made me sad because I like, you know, how often do you be able to go to the movies and basically go see a double feature?
Right. But I mean, also, you know, the Weinstein's releasing it on Easter weekend was a horrible idea too. But
by the way, it's spelled the same way because it's his daughter.
Oh, I did not know that. I thought it was just happened to be. Like,
Well, no, you said the Sidney Poitier. I was like, no, this is the old icon. No,
Yeah.
no, it's his daughter.
Yeah, cool. So, yeah, I mean, I obviously recommend it because it's a Tarantino movie, and I actually think it's very good, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a big blind spot for me. We've talked about it on the show before.
Yeah.
I haven't seen either segment from Grindhouse.
Yeah.
So that's
They're both good in their own rights because
something
they
I
are
need to
exactly
just-
what they're supposed to be.
I just need to sit down and finally just watch.
Have you not seen the Robert Rodriguez's Planet Terror either?
No, I haven't seen either
fun.
parts of it.
Yeah,
No.
it's good.
So when I figure out which box it's in, because I actually have when they first released on Blu-ray, they were released individually, and the part that actually upset me about that the most was the fake trailers. So later on, when they re-released, they actually released it as Grindhouse. So it's the full, basically 2-part movie with all the trailers in between as well. So I'll have to get that to you so you can just watch it all the way through.
Absolutely, movie night.
I can't stress of how great Kurt Russell is in this either. Like,
Oh,
it's
he plays a good villain.
there's a part of the movie where
you want to like
where you're like starting to see that he might have evil intentions, and you don't know that he's the bad guy of the movie. And then there's a part where he walks out to his car, and Rose McGowan gets in his car, and he just turns and looks at the camera and smiles, and it's one of the best things he's ever done on camera.
All right, so that's our number 8 then, Death Proof.
So I guess I should move that out of my list over here. Huh?
Yep. So
we can't have
can't have it
Death Proof
twice
in 4 different places.
Oh, I better, yeah.
So we got to go to number 7. This could end up being Chris has the 2 worst spots. It could be.
He doesn't.
I don't.
I'm assuming by that Brian has the number 7.
I do have number 7.
Okay.
See, look, number 7.
Number 7. So number 7 on the top 8 Quentin Tarantino movies.
I'm so nervous about what Brian's going to do. Anything.
I think it's going to be like that this entire game.
I know.
Because
I wish you could feel my heart right now.
we're all going to... I guarantee
I'm literally
all 4 of us
all
have
the-
a different number 1.
I don't have a good answer to this.
I know there's one movie right now that should be played, in my opinion. I wish that I was just doing this list, just me.
But that's not how it works.
God damn it.
I can't believe you think some of these are deserving of 7 when there's maybe arguably like 2 or 3 that could be played here.
I
You know what
think
I'm saying? Like-
any of these could end up at number 1.
I think
Honestly,
there's
I don't
two.
think there's any...
There's 2 movies that deserve 7 and 6. That's my
I'm with
opinion.
Chris on this. I'm with Chris on
I
this 100%.
think I know what he's talking about, but there is someone in the
But that's just
backlot,
it.
the backlot group that just named it as their best. If it's what we're thinking of.
What are you talking about?
Oh,
Yeah,
I know what he's talking
like-
about. We're not going to say anything.
No.
We're not going to say anything, but I know what you're talking about.
Brian's still thinking it over. This is a tough one for him, I guess.
Well, ever since I got into Tarantino movies, I'm just a fan of his stuff in general, period.
But there's not like 2 or 3 that you're just like, yes, these need to be high.
No, I'm trying to rank for low here, god damn it.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's
there's
my
not like
problem.
4 or 5 that you could just kill off right now.
No.
Oh,
Because-
see, for me, it's
For me, I mean, even Death Proof, I go into... He's got movies the way he does them.
Death Proof could be top 3 for you.
Any of them, you know.
Okay.
That's why I think this is the best way to do it, because any of these could be in someone's top. top 3 or top
Anyone's,
2.
yeah.
I'd say
So
the
I'm
hard
saying-
thing right now is that none of us can like prepare for our next number because we don't know what the rest of you are going to put at this number.
I'm assuming no one has back-to-back picks either.
I'm close, but I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
I'm very close. but-
Interesting. So that means no one has the 1 and 2 just
Here,
waiting,
we'll just do
sitting
this.
on
There
this.
you go. There you go.
What'd you put?
Number 7, Brian has laid down. Probably Blake's number 1 from what it sounds like. Inglorious Bastards.
For me, I that's one of the reasons I'm not a fan of the game, honestly, Blake, because like Blake looks like he wants to cry.
Go ahead, Brian.
Brian, do you have your will prepared?
No, I
Okay.
probably should though.
All right, so Brian, why Inglorious Bastards right here at number 7?
Because I have no good answer to this question.
There you go. I don't think we
This
can't.
is the wrong answer, but
There is no right answer.
Yeah, I don't think there is a right or wrong answer. So
There's
why?
clearly a right answer.
Why did you want to put Inglorious Bastards down right here?
Because I don't.
Okay, what do you like? Let's talk about the good things about it then.
Yes.
Inglorious Bastards.
Christoph Waltz is amazing. Brad Pitt is amazing. I like the fact that they turned history on its head and side. You
Have
know,
we all seen this movie?
Yes, I have.
Has Casey seen it?
Yes,
Okay.
I rewatched it this morning.
Okay.
You rewatched it this morning when you literally had movies you didn't watch yet?
I didn't have a way to watch them,
That's
but
fine.
yes.
That's fine. Brian, what else do you like about this movie?
By the way, I do tend to agree with Brian at this spot. Yeah. So for me, like a lot of it works.
Mm-hmm.
Like Christoph Waltz is great, Brad Pitt is great, the entire Bastards team is top notch. I think the casting is really like his most outside the box with everyone he casts. Like who would have thought? Like why would you have Eli Roth as one of your 3-4 main characters in the movie?
Because Adam Sandler wasn't available. That's exactly what happened. He wanted Adam Sandler for that role.
Oh, that would have been
amazing.
Crazy. I'm trying to picture that. I'm digging this idea, but at the same time too, though, this is also the same time too that he's really getting into the whole like when he was working with Eli and the Hostel movies, and they were very buddy at the time though too. So to get Eli in there as well, I was not surprised.
Yeah, I think I can see why it's some of people's favorites across the table glaring at me. I don't want to say anything bad about it.
No, what don't you like about it?
I think the dialogue does take away from what they're trying to say in the story. I think there's many times where they deviate into like 40-minute long scenes of dialogue where it's like, I don't know who you guys are.
You remember this is a Tarantino movie, right?
I know, and I think he does it better in other movies that we'll get to. But yeah, for me, like it's kind of it's definitely, I think it's his most ambitious movie that he's ever made. I definitely think that is true.
Yeah.
From the casting, the writing, the choices he makes, especially involving taking actual historical events and then absolutely just changing them, flipping it on its head, and destroying what our actual history is. Like it's a Tarantino movie through and through.
And you get Mike Myers.
And you do get a Mike Myers doing a British accent.
I'm going to let Chris go before I go off on my rant.
I know that I've said this on the podcast before. I think Inglourious Basterds and Django Unchained, I'm not saying they're his best two movies, but I think that's his best back-to-back that he's ever done in his career. Like I think I said, like I feel those two are better than Pulp Fiction and Jackie Brown or Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill. Or never mind. Anyways.
We know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I really appreciate the opening scene. That's how you set tone in a movie, with that whole the Jews under the floorboards and all that, and Christoph Waltz. And
that was a good way to introduce Christoph Waltz to the American audience.
He's scary.
Very scary.
Yes.
But the best scene in the whole movie is the bar scene, because what Tarantino does best is that suspense, and then just like the explosion of it is all gone in 10 seconds of them shooting the guns off and whatever. Like that scene is perfect to me. I really.
I need to go rewatch some of these too.
That's a great fucking scene.
Blake, are you ready for your rant?
I am so upset right now. This is far and away Tarantino's best movie. It's not even a close second. Like I love Pulp Fiction. It's my favorite movie, but this is so much better than Pulp Fiction.
That doesn't make any... Okay, go ahead.
I understand. Like, I love Pulp Fiction. It's one of the reasons why I love movies. But, like, I think as far as a Tarantino movie goes, this is, like, a clear number one. Like, this movie follows Death Proof, which is ironic for this list. And I think it's so good because he followed a failure. Like, I remember him talking about... Steven Spielberg called him. And was like, yeah, now you know what it's like to fail. Like, you've had success after success, but everyone has failures, and you had your first failure. And now it's like, how are you going to come back? How are you going to rebound? Mm-hmm. And you came back with Inglourious Basterds. Like, I guess I respectfully disagree. I think the screenplay from top to bottom is, like, the best thing he's ever done. And I think I'm with Chris. Like, the bar scene is the best thing he's ever done. Because... the bar scene, like the game they play with, where they talk about, like who am I, where they have the thing slapped on their forehead. That game is exactly the game they're playing with their lives. Like they are trying to guess who these people are while playing the game of trying to guess who they are. So I think that whole like double meaning of that scene is so great. And like Chris said, like the way it just escalates and escalates and escalates, and then all of a sudden like just erupts into violence. for me, it's the best thing Tarantino's ever done. And of course, Christoph Waltz is very good in it. Clearly, he's become a star because of it. Brad Pitt's really good. Michael Fassbender's that was the breakout Michael Fassbender role. Mm-hmm. I just think this is the clear number one for me. But that's the danger of this game, you know.
I will say that for me, in terms of trying to rank movies that are Tarantino movies,
right, it's very hard.
For me, it's because they're all so different from one another. Obviously, the only ones that are basically similar are Volume 1 and 2 for Kill Bill, because it was so long he had to split it up.
Right.
Where it's like, you know, I look at movies like Jackie Brown, and that's his blaxploitation movie. He's like, I'm going to do a war movie, but this is going to be my version of a war movie. I'm not going to do like a Nolan, a Spielberg. I'm not, you know, this is my version of it. So
his version of a horror movie is going to be talky. His version of a war movie is going to be talky.
Right. So that's where, for me, like, trying to rank these, that's why I'm literally going through and going, okay.
Yeah.
So
I just think there's so many.
I don't say you're wrong.
Yeah.
I agree with
I really
everything.
wanted this to get at number 1, and the fact that it went number 7 is so sad to me. But like, I just think
so when we get done with this, we'll just have Chris re-rank them properly.
I just think like every aspect of this movie is on point and at the highest level. The script, the cinematography, the production design is amazing in this. The casting is amazing. Like, every single piece of this movie is perfect. And
here it sits at number 7.
Yeah, here it sits at number 7, but that's the name of the game. So
I really appreciate you explaining how the game of them trying to guess who they are while they're also trying to guess who they are. I've never thought about the scene that way. That's a perfect explanation.
That scene in the bar is the best thing Tarantino's written, and then we'll get to the other scene that I think is his best scene that is written. But the bar scene in Inglourious Basterds is one of the best things of last decade for me, easily.
All right, are we ready to move on to the number?
Sorry, that was
number
a very
6?
impassioned rant.
No,
I just love that movie.
I guarantee
so much.
every one of us will have one of those at some point.
I'm so glad I don't have to go for a while.
Tarantino and the Coen brothers are the only two filmmakers where you're going to get like completely different top 5s. Completely different top 5s.
I would agree.
So I expected some sort of controversy here. So I'm okay now.
And there it is.
There it is.
All right. Until he gets number 6. Son of a bitch!
Yeah, we'll see what
let's
happens.
go to it. 6. I have the number 6. And while you guys were ranting about your Inglourious Basterds, I thought about it. And I'm going to go with his latest film, Hateful Eight.
Thank you.
I just watched this for the first time, I will admit that.
How long ago?
Last night.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I finally finished watching it. And you know what? It's a Tarantino stage play. And I think that's one of the best ways to describe it, because that's basically what it is set up. It's just a bunch of people within the confines of a room. Very much like what he did with Reservoir Dogs, which we'll eventually talk about on this list. But I think the acting is perfect. Kurt Russell is the best in this movie. I also think this is one of the best Samuel L. Jackson Tarantino combinations. You know, it's right up there with Pulp Fiction for me. And the reason I would put it here is I think some of the Tarantino humor does not work in this one, especially with I don't care if we spoil these movies. So I'm assuming that most
people other than our host has seen.
Yeah, except for you.
And I don't care. So I don't care.
Okay.
So we can spoil it. I don't care. I think the joke with them hammering the door does not work. It falls flat every time.
I love that joke.
I do too.
No, it falls flat for me every time, and I enjoyed the movie, but it's for me it's not one of his best. Not one that needs to be in the top 5.
One of the things I always saw, even from the moment I saw this in the theater when they had Bruce Dern in there. I'm picturing like the casting and, you know, calling Bruce Dern, hey, we want to put you in a Tarantino movie. Okay, what's he going to make me do? You're going to sit in a recliner for the entire duration of the movie.
Hell yes.
Okay. So give the old man the nice comfortable chair.
Like, I love this cast though. This is an awesome cast.
Yeah.
It's a great cast. I like Bruce Dern in the movie, Samuel L. Jackson.
Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum has a fun part in the movie. That's the only thing I wouldn't want to spoil is his part.
No, we're not going to talk about Channing Tatum because his part is very, very good.
Yeah. Well, there is one thing I wish they would have done in this movie. Not had his name in the front, in the credits.
Oh, right.
I agree.
It would have made that third act twist that much more.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's probably him going, well, fuck, if my friend Jonah can be in a Tarantino movie, I'm going to be in a goddamn Tarantino movie.
Is Jonah Hill in a Tarantino movie?
Yeah.
Oh, he's in. Yeah, we'll talk about it. This is my number 8. I don't think it's a great movie.
I'm curious as to rewatch the extended episodic version on Netflix to see if that helps though, because that's like 45 minutes of additional stuff.
Yeah, it's fine. I think it's very mean spirited. Like I think a lot of the characters are like there's really no one to root for, and I get it's called Hateful Eight. I understand that, but like there's literally no one in the movie I even care for, and they're like there's a lot of abuse towards
Jennifer Jason Leigh,
which is a little like sketchy, but
she's a terrible person.
Right, she's terrible too. Yeah. But like I will say, I love that he finally got Ennio Morricone to do the score, even though like Morricone turned him down for years. And I also love that he was able to use parts of the score from The Thing that he didn't use for John Carpenter's movie in this. So I thought that was really cool that he brought back stuff. And then actually won an Oscar for it.
Right.
So,
did you hear about the guitar?
Yes.
About the mistake in the guitar.
Yes. I thought that was amazing.
Oh, by the way, you just destroyed a $40,000 guitar.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, so the
guitar that Kurt Russell is playing, or no, who played
Jennifer Jason Leigh is playing.
She's playing. They got that from like a museum.
Yeah.
And when Kurt Russell grabs it to destroy it, her reaction is like, "Oh my! Like you can't do like that's all real." Like,
it's all real because they didn't get a chance to cut and put in the prop, and so Kurt Russell destroyed.
And no one told Kurt Russell.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Why would you need a $40,000 guitar for that scene though?
No, it's
Tarantino.
It's more about the antique part of it. I think
it was more about the essence of the guitar itself.
The one thing that you brought up that I found interesting was like you said it was like a stage play type thing. I think that's why he used 70mm so he could get in on the close-ups and show you stuff that was happening that you maybe wouldn't get if you were like in an audience watching.
I think partly that, and then especially with he had very long outdoor shots to get the landscape feel.
My brother saw the road show where they showed it on 70mm. He said it was incredible.
Oh, that bitch is beautiful.
Yeah. Chris, you got anything about Hateful Eight that you didn't like or liked?
My biggest problem with the movie is because it was all these people who don't know each other trapped in a room. It reminded me so much of my favorite scene in Inglourious Basterds and how much I loved that scene. And so then I was like, oh, so this movie's going to be fucking phenomenal because it's Quentin Tarantino doing this is what he's best at, you know?
Put a bunch of people in a room. This is his spaghetti western.
And it didn't work.
Yeah, it's just in the dialogue's not like snappy like usual, and it just doesn't fly. I know a lot of people who love this movie, but
we need Walter Goggins back again. I don't know how, but
I didn't like him in the movie either, actually. And
he plays typical Walton Goggins.
Yeah.
He plays the exact same character.
And that's that's legit. Actually, one of the things that I like about him. I would want to correct you on one character that he's played that's not quite Walter Goggins, and that is his character from Sons of Anarchy.
I can back.
I didn't watch the show, so
I haven't seen that.
He played. Well, we won't spoil it.
Oh, I totally want to show him a picture.
I think you have before. Anyway, I like that he brought back some of his, the people that worked on his first film with him, with Tim Roth and Michael Madsen. Like, I like that he brought them both back. I think he should have Tim Roth in every movie he does.
I love Tim Roth.
Yes. And, that's kind of my thoughts on... Yeah, you've showed me that before.
Do you guys know about the whole controversy of, like, the screenplay getting leaked for this one?
Yes.
Yeah. He was just going to make it into a book.
Do you think it would have been a better movie if he had went with the original screenplay that he truly wanted?
I doubt it. I mean, I don't know. Who knows?
I don't know what the differences are.
Yeah.
I don't think he changed it.
I think this would play better as a book.
I think or is even a
play,
stage play.
An actual play.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Some high school, please do a stage play of Hateful Eight.
Yeah, the same high school that did Alien should do Hateful Eight.
Filled with the Samuel Jackson sucking his Johnson.
Yeah.
Yes.
That scene was weird.
Yeah. Again,
very
mean-spirited.
Yeah. Tarantino does something like you always hear about, like show don't tell. He tells don't show, but he does it perfectly.
Yeah.
I wish they would have done that in that scene because I'm like, if it would have just been Samuel Jackson telling the story, it would have made that scene more meaningful to what actually happens.
Yeah, I also think it's like way too long.
That scene?
Just the whole movie.
Oh. You can say that about all these movies.
I don't think so. I guess I disagree, but like, so his editor that he had for the longest time, Sally Menke, she died in like 2010, and there's a theory that Tarantino's output's gotten worse because she's not there to edit down his movies.
His movies have gotten longer.
Right.
Yeah.
So and for me, like post Inglourious Bastards, I would put all of that so far like it's his like some of his lesser efforts for me, and I wonder if that theory might be true. I don't know.
I think that's a good theory. I mean, who's going to tell Tarantino no? Cut
And
this scene
supposedly
down.
she was very cutthroat with him. Like, trust me, like this is not going to fly. Yeah. And I think we're starting to see a bit of ego in his stuff. So I'm a little nervous about his newest one coming out, but I hope that it's good.
Do we even know what the runtime is?
It's 170 minutes, I think, 160 minutes. It's long.
Well, I know I'm going, so.
Yeah, me too.
All
I've
right.
already got my ticket.
We are entering the top 5 Tarantino films, so we're ready for the number 5.
All right, I have number 5.
Blake's first pick on this.
This movie for me would be like 7 or 8, but now that I'm at 5,
it's at 5.
It needs to be as far away from the top 3 as possible. That's his debut movie, Reservoir Dogs. Reservoir Dogs, you know, is his first movie. It's a heist movie. It's actually like the movie that kind of like got me into movies. Like I remember watching Reservoir Dogs and being like, "Whoa, this is something I've never seen before. This is like great acting, great screenplay," and like the more I watch it, the more like I can't do it anymore. Like I can't watch it, and I don't think I've seen it in probably 10 years. So I think it's a very good debut. I think it's a very raw debut movie. I think it's like a very very polished student film, maybe, with a lot of great acting, you know, and there's some great scenes in it. But I definitely think it's one of his. I think he's just gotten a lot. I think he's gotten so good that this just doesn't hold up as well as his other movies do.
The one thing I really appreciate about this movie is, especially at the time that it came out, is that you said it's a heist movie. It's his heist movie,
right.
And like I said before, none one of his movies are essentially the same. He's got his different versions of different things, right? But to have a heist movie where you don't get the heist,
right.
You get Act 1, you get Act 3, you do not get Act 2.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the best things about that movie, because it leaves everything else to the person watching the movie to try to perceive, how did we get here, since we don't know what happened in the middle.
Right. Actually, there's almost like no Act 1. In a way, it's all Act 3.
It's the scene at the diner.
Yeah.
It's their Act 1.
Yeah.
For me, this would be in my personal top 3. Like, I love Reservoir Dogs.
Okay.
Yeah. Part of a Tarantino movie for me, like, that kind of has not really turned me away, but not ones that I'll go back and rewatch, is that runtime that we just talked about. This is his most streamlined hour 30, hour 29, something like that. And I think he uses that time perfectly. Like Brian said, we don't get the heist, but we know exactly what happened during the heist.
Yeah.
Yes. And I love that.
And that's a good use of his dialogue.
Yeah.
Everything is basically explained to you or perceived to you just based on what they're saying.
What they're saying, yeah. They show none of it. There's, one shootout with Steve Buscemi, and that's about all you get?
Well, there's also a scene, I think, where they're dragging, like, someone's in the back seat. Yeah, Tim Roth and Harvey Keitel, I think.
That's after the heist, though.
Right, but that's still another scene that they show, like...
Yeah.
Right, but for me, that's like the beginning of Act 3.
You're never in the bank with them.
Right.
Never.
Right.
And I think that works perfectly. The
No,
acting in this movie is great.
Yeah, it's good.
Tim Roth is amazing. Like, I just watched this...
And Harvey Keitel is great. And Chris Penn is great.
Like, I watched this 5-6 years ago and didn't really enjoy it. Like, kind of threw it to the wayside. And then when I rewatched it this weekend, like, I really liked it a lot more. I completely forgot the Tim Roth twist in the movie. That he's actually a cop.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that, and I think that works perfectly in the movie. And I just watched an interview with him, and he talks about how this is like a father-son movie, and I never thought about it.
Yeah, I never thought about that either.
Until now. Like, actually, like, looking back at the movie, how there's different father-son relationships throughout it, and I think looking at it that way it's an interesting way to look at the film. Otherwise, you know, I wouldn't have saw it that way, but
yeah.
I think it has one of the most iconic Tarantino scenes in it.
The ear scene?
The ear scene?
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh
the ear
my
scene.
God, that poor cop.
Yeah. And I just think it's one of his best very tight film.
Yeah.
Chris?
This is probably about right where I would have put it on my own list. So
Boy over here.
I like it. I like it right here.
You said that last time, and then you threw him into the wolves.
He's back. He's back. Man. Well, I guess it depends what he plays, next or whatever. So,
I think it is his first film, and I think like you can tell like this is his first film. It's definitely not as polished as the rest. There's like mistakes or like things that you're like, why is that in there? Why is that this way?
It was also the 90s.
Yeah, I mean
True.
it's a good debut, but you can tell like it's the beginning of like someone who could truly make a great movie.
Oh, definitely.
All right, are we ready to move on from Reservoir Dogs to number 4?
I'm ready.
Are we ready?
Yeah, this is where it gets good.
All right, who's got the number 4 pick? It'll be their last pick, whoever has it.
I got number 4.
Here we go.
All right.
And I would have had this film probably at 7. So that's really the only reason I'm putting here at 4. Jackie Brown. It's just like this film has a lot of fucking talking. Like just a lot of talking.
Like I said before, we're talking about Tarantino movies, right?
I think there's too much talking in this movie. Like that's all they do, and then I just
Can someone please call Jameson and see if he's okay?
Yeah. This is the movie we were referencing earlier when someone on our team had it at number 1.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
This is
right.
Jameson's favorite Tarantino movie.
Chris, go on, man.
I don't know. I don't
You're
like.
back out of the My Boy Club, by the way.
I don't
You're
think
up. You're in. You're up. You're in.
I don't think the characters are relatable, which I mean
that's
you can't really relate with a lot of Tarantino
that's a
characters.
fair argument for him. To be fair, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not the surfer bunny. He's definitely not the Pam Grier type.
Well, he's not 50 years old either.
He's not Robert Forster.
Robert De Niro's role is kind of cool, even though he just kind of sits there for most of the movie. And then who does he kill? He kills somebody at the end.
The surfer chick, Bridget Fonda.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's just okay.
It's a collaborative list.
It's just fine.
This is one I haven't watched, so I can't say anything on it.
I think that this Inglourious Basterds and Pulp Fiction could just rotate at number 1 for me. I mean, I know I said Inglourious Basterds is a clear number 1, but like those three.
It's a good rotation.
I really love this movie a lot.
The one thing I like about this is, again, and Tarantino's like, okay, so what kind of movie do I want to make next? I want to make a blaxploitation film. I need to get a very in your face, strong black female lead. But who better to get than Pam Grier?
Right.
You get her, and just the ensemble cast to come in to back all that up. I think is just, I want to see, because again, it's actually, for as much as I own all these movies, trying to go back here, isn't the very beginning of Jackie Brown got Sam Jackson and
Chris Tucker.
Yes, Chris Tucker. I want to see those two back together again in a Tarantino movie. I think that would be a good little put back together.
It's a fun scene. I could watch this for 10, 15 hours, honestly.
Right.
Like I could watch these characters. Like the relationship between Pam Grier and Robert Forster is probably like the best duo in any Tarantino movie, I think. Mm-hmm. Both were like their careers were dead. I guess Tarantino had to like scrap like Hollywood to find Robert Forster. He wasn't even acting. Like
was this before or after Mars Attacks?
Was he in Mars Attacks?
No, but she was.
I'm talking about. Did I say I meant Robert Forster?
You're right. Okay.
So he had to like look under boxes to find Robert Forster. Like he was so hard to find, and like it paid off. He got an Academy Award nomination. But like I think this is like I think Sam Jackson's a great villain. I mean, and De Niro is so good, and just like he could have made another Pulp Fiction, which is in a way an extension of like the universe of Reservoir Dogs. Like he could have made another like pulpy crime movie that was like flashy and really hip, but he made like this quiet, introspective movie that's still pretty fun. Has an amazing soundtrack, arguably the best Tarantino soundtrack. and about these two like people who like you don't see a lot in movies. You don't see like 50 to 60-year-olds who are like really scraping by in life, and he made them he made you care about them. And they had a great relationship. And then the whole heist itself, where they have to exchange the money and everything, like the way he does it, like 2 or 3, 4 times from different point of views, is really interesting. And like the way it ends with like the great song choice, it's just I think it's just like a perfect movie and could easily be number 1. I think for me.
So I don't have any thoughts on it.
You need to see this movie, Casey.
It's been a blind spot because I honestly before.
So instead of watching, You could have figured a way. There's always a way.
I think I might own this. I own this on Blu-ray. You should have said something. I would have given it to you because I think it's an incredible movie.
I mean,
before we all of us that talk about movies and have movies at no point.
We should just be sharing movies more.
Did you not go, hey, I need to see this one, but it's not on digital. Can somebody borrow it to me?
Yeah, that's true. I'm glad someone else laid it down so I didn't have to and put it in the wrong spot. But it's been on my watch list forever. Like this and Death Proof have been on there. Like it's just a matter of I need to get around to it. But I mean, before hearing Blake talk about it and then Jameson's review on it, like I hadn't heard a lot of people talk about Jackie Brown. Honestly, it falls into that like, the shuffle behind
Jameson
everything
talked
else.
about like getting slack from people about like oh I can't believe that's number 1. That must have been years ago because now like there's a huge contingency who think it's Tarantino's best movie.
Oh yeah.
So
you can go pick up the DVD from Last Stop right now.
I could.
It is totally worth your $6.
Yeah.
All right, I'll have to do that. But right now it's going to sit.
Last Stop.
It's going to sit there at number 4.
Number 4.
Number 3.
I have number 3.
Uh-oh.
And I'm going to lay down.
Top 3 here.
I'm going to get rid of this movie because I don't think it should be anywhere near top 3 Tarantino.
I'm waiting for it.
I'm scared for what it is because I have 2 movies left that are in my top 2.
I think this. Okay, so when I first saw this movie, I saw it on Christmas Day in the theaters, and I was like, okay, that's fine. It's good. And I've watched it twice since, and it's grown with me. Like I think it's gotten better as I have sat with it. I think it's probably 30 minutes too long, personally, and I think it has like a really weak bad guy. It's Django Unchained.
I'm looking at my 3, and you're like Christmas Day. I'm like, all right, I know what I'm putting over here now.
It's a good movie. Jamie Foxx is really good in it. It's just so long, and like where it could have ended would have been like perfect for me, but it just keeps going and keeps going. Now I'm gonna edit what I said about the bad guy because the true villain of this movie is actually Samuel L. Jackson and not Leonardo DiCaprio. So I think Leo is a weak link in this movie. I don't think he's that great. I think he's got one of the best Tarantino like diatribes where he just goes on and on about how black people have smaller brains than white men and how like it plays into like his whole like slavery thing. I think that's really interesting and very like evil and diabolical. And a lot of like the plantation stuff where they go on that whole tour of trying to find those the boys. I forget their names, but I just think like it's a fine movie. Like I think it's good. I think it's just 30 to 40 minutes too long.
I just love the fact that we get a movie with Jonah Hill in it that's Tarantino.
Yeah, and I actually thought that whole sequence could have been cut out.
Well, one of the reasons why that exists though too, and I understand why because it did feel a little bit like filler.
Is he trying to say like
No. So when he first started casting for Django, he had every intention of getting Jonah Hill, but Jonah Hill was not available
for Django.
For Django.
Not to play the character
No,
in Django.
to be in the movie.
Okay.
To be in the movie.
It would have been a much different movie.
Right? No. He had every intention, but Jonah was not available to be in the movie for the long term.
Who was he supposed to be?
I don't remember. But they cast whatever the case is. Jonah happens to be in the area for like over a weekend and whatnot. He's like, I'm going to get you in here. And they literally wrote that bit for him for that day.
No, it's in the script. I'm pretty sure it's in the script. Oh, his part, you mean?
His part.
Okay.
Yes. To be able to pull off and you're like,
he's funny in it, but
right.
I don't know.
Because I mean, like you're like, because again, it's one of those things. It's like you don't turn down Tarantino. Yeah. So if you're in the area and Tarantino says, "I'm going to make you get in this movie somehow, in any way, shape, or form," you don't say, "Well,
Yeah. Chris, do you like this movie?
I do. I'd probably put it at 3 on my own list, but I do agree with you. I think it is a little long. There's some scenes that could be cut completely, trimmed down.
And then something we haven't really talked about is like Tarantino's a bad actor. And like he is almost like a focal point of a certain sequence at the end, and he's just so bad. Like why is he in this movie?
His bad accent.
Yeah. And then the guy that's in there with him is the killer from Wolf Creek, which is a cool little thing. But like, why is he in this movie? He's so bad in this movie.
He's bad in all his anytime he acts.
He's fine in Pulp Fiction, but like, I don't know. Like this is.
I was sad that they hid Zoe Bell's face.
Yeah,
because
I guess you must have a crush on Zoe Bell.
It's the
second time you've pinpointed her in this podcast.
Well, I mean, no, that she was. I mean, she's been in everything he's done since he found her for Kill Bill. So
was she in Glorious Bastards?
That might be
Probably
like
just
that might be
stunts.
like the only one.
She might be stunts.
Yeah,
For probably Diane Kruger. I would
yeah.
imagine.
But otherwise, I mean, he does everything he can to be able to try to get her in there, and that's where even with in Django's like, well, we'll put you in here. And it's like, well, if you're gonna put her in there and people are gonna recognize her, don't put the bandana over her face.
Yeah.
No, I get your issue with Leonardo, but at the same time too, I love the fact that he was the completely over the top character that he was, because
I don't think he's bad. It's just like,
but that was nothing like what he's never really been the bad guy really ever. So to finally kind of get him as the pseudo villain, because I agree, Sam Jackson is definitely
he's the main
puppeteer.
He's the main villain. Yeah.
But
Tarantino has gone on record and said that Leo is his favorite. Like, he's the only character he's ever hated.
Yeah.
In his own movies.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But and I love the fact that he was so into his character and keeping with everything like that when he busted his hand open, he just kept on going. That he's that kind of actor. Like, I'm gonna bleed all over you, but I'm gonna finish this fucking scene.
Yeah.
This is one of my top 2 favorite Tarantino movies.
Interesting.
I think my favorite will probably go. Well, obviously it'll go into the top 2 here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I love Django Unchained. I think that is probably my favorite Tarantino villain, is between both Leo and Samuel Jackson. Like, those two together, like, that's a perfect combo. 2 completely different ideologies for villains, but yet they're both just as evil as each other. Samuel Jackson maybe just a little more.
Oh, I think Samuel. I think Leo is evil, but I don't think he's like as evil. Like, I don't think he's even close to as evil as Samuel Jackson is. I think he's more like,
evil as in like movie character evil.
He's
like
evil.
That's the bad guy. But then once you figure out what Samuel Jackson's like,
it's way worse.
Plot. Yeah, he's worse. Yeah, he is more of a terrible human being than Leo is. And we haven't even brought up Jamie Foxx yet.
Well, I brought him up.
He's great in this movie.
He's good. He's good.
He's great.
And like
Blake's over here. He's fine.
He's fine. And another thing is,
would you have rather had Will Smith?
No, was that who it was supposed to be? I think I actually would have had rather had Will Smith.
No, Jamie Foxx.
Yeah,
I don't think Will Smith.
I don't think Will Smith. I don't think him and Tarantino quite have the they wouldn't have the
They would have been
the chemistry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I also want to say that I think Christoph Waltz is like exactly like he was in Inglourious Bastards.
Except he's the
and
the
him
good
winning
guy.
an Academy Award, I was like, "Are you serious?"
I think he just had weak competition that year, and that's really the only reason he won.
Pull it up, Chris. I want to see what that is.
It was supporting actor, right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you give it to Leo then?
Because he wasn't nominated.
Well, I
Sam
would have nominated Leo before I would have nominated Christoph Waltz.
And I do want to say Kerry Washington's really good in this as well.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
I just like.
Has anyone watched the original Django movies?
Yeah, I know. I have seen a movie starring the guy who played Django in a similar role, but I have not seen the Django movies. But
I like his cameo in the movie.
Yes, I agree.
I thought that was a really nice, slow,
I
sweet
agree.
touch
I
on
agree.
it.
Have you ever seen the weird cameo that Jamie Foxx does as Django?
No.
In A Million Days or A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Okay,
the
I
Seth
have seen
MacFarlane
that. I have
movie.
seen that.
Oh, it's so bad. It's cringeworthy.
All right, listen off, Chris.
All right, so Christoph won. Matt Damon for Invictus, Woody Harrelson for The Messenger, Stanley Tucci for The Lovely Bones, and Christopher Plummer for The Last Station.
Woody Harrelson or Tucci would have won for me, like hands down.
Stanley Tucci's not. No.
And the
I
Love
think
with
the
Bones?
right person won.
He is great in
That
that
movie's terrible.
It's not good, but he's great in it.
He is fine for a TV movie.
Well, Jamie Foxx is fine for a Tarantino Western movie.
Which is almost half of his filmography now. All right, so let's wrap it up. That's number 3, Django Unchained. So we are at number 2. I don't have it. I know who has the number 2.
I'm out of
Yeah,
parts.
Chris and Blake are out. Brian has the number 2. Therefore, he has the next 2 spots altogether.
Again, I will go ballistic if a certain movie is not number 1. And it's again on Brian to decide what it is.
I think these are his 2 favorites, though. Am I wrong?
They're both great.
They are both great.
Great.
Okay,
So,
I will say this: they could both be here, but one needs to be here.
Okay.
There we go.
It's number 2?
Are you gonna kill me again?
No, I like this. I like this.
This is the right choice, Brian.
Okay. Okay. Good.
So number 2, Kill Bill.
Go ahead, Brian.
I do appreciate, for the sake of, you complaining about the really long movies, I did appreciate the fact that he put this into 2 pieces and to break it up. And frankly, I think more movies need to do that. They need to serialize and maybe break them out into like 2 movies into 6 months apart, something like that.
Yeah.
Frankly, they should have been doing that for Harry Potter long before the last one. But no, I mean it's just an overall good. It's his samurai movie. It's his bride movie that him and Uma Thurman had been working on that character since Pulp Fiction.
It's a lot of movies.
What's that?
It's like Kill Bill's just a lot of movies.
It's his revenge movie.
It's also a western.
Yeah.
In a way.
I
Well,
think it's his most
his,
like
different
East
type of
meets
West
genres.
kind of movie.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is the first Tarantino movie I ever watched. Was Kill Bill.
Well, it's because you're also like 12 with a beard.
Yeah, I mean that is true. I watched it with my dad, but on TV, which is not the way to watch it. No, that's not the way to watch it. But no, I love Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. Like it is one of the best revenge movies, without ever taking away from the main character. Like Uma Thurman's like really good in this movie. She is like the badass in the film. And taking all like we said, there's samurai, there's western, there's revenge, there's pretty much any subgenre you can think of a film, like it's in this movie.
Yeah.
This has like the best over the top crazy action scenes in all of his movies, and especially the
Crazy 88 is a great fight scene.
Yes, that's what I was going for. That was really, really good. And
I love this movie. I think it has like the second best written scene he's ever done, where Tarantino once again has a character talking about something, but he's actually talking about something else, where he talks about how the bride is actually Superman, where Superman can dress up as Clark Kent all he wants, but in the end of the day, he's actually Superman. And the bride, Uma Thurman, can be whoever she wants, but at the end of the day, she'll always be the bride. I think that's I think the way David Carradine delivers that whole scene is...
It's one of my favorite dialogue scenes from Tarantino.
It's amazing. I'm with Brian. I like it split up. I know there's a cut out there that you can watch that's both movies together, but I think it plays really well where you can take a break in between. And
it plays well, like almost as like a double feature.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I love the fact that you have 2 individuals playing 2 different characters in both movies.
Right. Yep.
You look
That's
puzzled.
Michael Parks and
the bald guy from the Crazy 88s. He's from the first half is the sensei from the second half.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you know who was going to play the sensei in the second half?
Bald guy from the first one?
No, Tarantino was going to play it himself at one point.
That would have sunk the movie for me. I think Volume 2 was like way better than the first volume. It has like the scenes where Uma Thurman like really has to dive into her soul to get her daughter back. I have no clue how she didn't get an Oscar nomination for this movie, including David Carradine too, who's terrific. If we were to divide these movies up, like I don't think I'd hesitate to put Volume 2 in the top, the third spot for me. Like I think it's just amazing.
Oh, you like Volume 2 better than 1?
Oh, it's way better
definitely.
Than 1. It's way better than 1.
And on top of it too, it's like if you're gonna do your kung fu movie, who better than get the kung fu master David Carradine?
Right. The Volume 1 is like a great action movie, but like Volume 2 where you like get into like why and like when you find out like what was the genesis of this whole thing. Like, it's sort of heartbreaking. And then, of course, the final scenes were with her daughter in the hotel room. Like, it's just I
actually like Volume 1 more because it is of the action.
When I finished Volume 2,
Yeah.
I was in tears. It was so sad to me.
I think
and heartwarming. Yeah.
They probably should have swapped putting the Crazy 88 fight into Volume 2. Probably would have helped.
No.
Because then you end with that awesome fight at 1, and you're like, then the second part I don't think has anything that can match that as far as action scenes.
You don't need to.
You don't need the
that.
action scenes.
I did. That's what I just said.
No. No, because
I understand why people like Volume 2 better. It is the more character-based story. I like the action in Volume 1 better.
It's good. It's over the top, which I understand is the point.
Yeah.
But, like, I think, like, as far as, like, intensity goes, her whole sequence with David Carradine, and her fight scene, especially with Daryl Hannah, is way more intense than anything in Volume 1 because of like how much she's been screwed over by those two. Because, like, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, I haven't seen it in a long time, like, Daryl Hannah in a way was kind of in love with Bill. And so, like, her whole, like, you know, screwing over Uma Thurman's character was so personal, like, that whole sequence. And plus the music they played during that sequence was incredible.
Daryl Hannah just was perfect cast.
And the way she's like, I killed your master, is, like, delivered so well. Oh man, it's for me. I'd rather watch Volume 2 than Volume 1. But I think they're both, I think they're both amazing. Like, the cliffhanger in Volume 1 is like, I remember being in the theater being like, oh my god, we didn't even see Bill the entire time. You know, like, you're probably too young for that, but it was. Did you see it in theaters?
Yes. And I appreciate the fact that we didn't get Bill until...
When that scene ended, it was like, her daughter's still alive. I was like, what?
Yes.
Oh, man. Like, that's like Sixth Sense stuff right there, man.
That's when you're like, okay, when's part 2 coming out?
And then they pushed it up, too, because I'm pretty sure that he wanted a year in between. I think they pushed it up, like, I think it was like 6 months.
Yeah, it was only 6 months.
Yeah.
All right, we're down to the number 1 spot. Let's run through this. Number 8, Death Proof. Number 7, Inglourious Bastards. Number 6, Hateful Eight. Number 5, Reservoir Dogs. Number 4, Jackie Brown. Number 3, Django Unchained. And number 2, Kill Bill.
Did you remember that all off the top of your head?
No, I'm reading it right there.
Oh, okay.
And number 1,
Don't let me down, Casey.
the greatest Tarantino film of all time.
What's he got left? True Romance.
That'd be top 3 for me.
Little Nicky. Pulp Fiction is the number 1 on our ranking of the Tarantino films. And this is my personal number 1, so I'm glad it's number 1 here.
Mine too.
Anyone else?
It's
Ryan?
Where can you go wrong where you've got 2 Arquettes in the same movie?
It's my favorite movie of all time.
So you like it at the number 1 spot then?
I'd prefer Inglourious Bastards number 1. But
I'm sorry,
I'm
Blake.
not. No. I'm not. I'm over that already. I love this movie so much. It's.
Yeah.
What can you say about it?
Yeah, like what can you say about Pulp Fiction that hasn't been said already?
Right.
The greatest Travolta performance ever.
The resurgence
I
of the
disagree
Travolta.
with that, but it's number 2 for me.
What, Grease is number 1?
Oh no, Blowout. Brian De Palma's Blowout's my favorite.
Well, that's the reason why he was in this film too.
Yeah.
Is because of Blowout. But yeah, I mean, Pulp Fiction. Like, what can you say? It's like there's a reason it's on every cinephile's bedroom wall.
Yeah.
Yes.
This poster.
It wasn't on mine, but
Are you sure?
I had Reservoir Dogs actually. I had Reservoir. Ironically, I just started doing like this interview series about movies and stuff. When I had a buddy on, and our favorite we did Pulp Fiction. So I talked about it for 2 hours with a buddy of mine recently. Yeah, it is like, for me, it is the movie of the 90s. Like, there's no other movie that encapsulates what the 90s were with film more than Pulp Fiction.
And I love the fact that it's out of order.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like at that point, had you ever seen anything like that before?
No.
I mean,
Well, with the exception of maybe
For American audiences.
Maybe, would be Reservoir Dogs, where it was literally taking what you're used to of a movie, Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, and just going, you know what? I'm just going to put it in how I want to.
Yeah.
You watch Travolta die just to be in the movie later on.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the mixing up of the acts actually makes sense in the end. So I like it the way it is, and it is a cool little trick. I could go off for hours about this movie, but
no, I do.
It's
I like the way he switches it up. He uses it, goes into different storylines. Like Brian said, like once you get like Travolta's dead halfway through the movie, But then once you get later to the final scene, he's there again.
Yeah.
Like, I think that works perfectly. Like, you know what's going to happen to the character, but that doesn't take away from anything. Like,
Yeah,
you still want to see.
You don't care.
Yeah.
You still love watching him.
Yeah. Like, he's my favorite character in this movie. Travolta's.
That Travolta is?
Yeah. Like, he is my favorite character to follow in it.
I figured it would have been the Gimp.
That's a close. I actually, well,
That whole sequence is so
yeah,
good.
yeah. What about you guys? Is yours like? Do you like focusing on the Samuel Jackson, Tarantino or Travolta stuff, or the Bruce Willis?
I think my favorite section is the Travolta Uma Thurman date. That goes wrong. So it's hard to say like if Travolta is my favorite character to follow, but at the same time, like I think when like I'm following characters and like all of a sudden it just goes to somebody else, I'm so into it that I don't really care. Like I love almost every section of this movie. There's one section I don't care for particularly, but yeah, I'd say like Travolta's probably my favorite character to follow. Yeah.
Chris, any thoughts on Pulp Fiction?
I would say the diner scene and then
Which one?
the end. Yeah.
Okay.
The end and then Travolta and Jackson in the car and then the apartment. I think those are my two favorite.
Which time are they in which time in the car?
In the car and then up to the apartment.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
But
they're
I,
talking about the
Royale with
The
cheese.
foot massage. Yeah.
I think the craziest thing about me personally for this film is that, like, as far as like the story and the plot, I think it's just like it's fine, it's okay, but like the way he shows everything and the dialogue and all that's really what makes this film number one to me.
So the dialogue here is good, but not in Jackie Brown.
Correct.
Okay.
Out of the Tarantino movies I've seen, this is my favorite. Like of his dialogue, it
just pops.
It does. It pops. It's like real world talk within like these movie characters. Like
Yeah.
it's perfect.
So I have like there's a weird thing with Pulp Fiction and me, and I talk about this in my other thing, but like Pulp Fiction I've seen so many times. I could just tell you all kinds of scenes off of the top of my head. But whenever I start watching it, no matter what time it is, or like I'm sorry, like which number of time it is, like like if it's the 20th time or whatever, I always just like get so wrapped up in the movie that I forget what's coming next. Even though I've seen it so many times, I'm like, oh my god, where is this gonna go? Like I've seen this, I don't know how many times I've seen this, maybe 15, 20 times, but like I always forget Christopher Walken is in this movie. I always forget he's in this movie.
The who?
Christopher Walken.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, see?
No.
So
No, at first I thought you said Chris Rock. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What?
So like when it gets to this gold watch, I'm like, what's going on? Christopher Walken's in this? Like, oh yeah, I've seen this.
Yeah,
before.
because when else? Who better to be talking about putting a watch up your ass than Christopher Walken?
Yeah. So this is like the one movie I watch where I've seen it so many times, but it so just catches me off guard with whatever's happening in the sequence where Uma Thurman overdoses on heroin. Oh, it's so good. Like Eric Stoltz is so great in that whole sequence. And Travolta's great in it.
There's a good reason it is at our number one.
Well, and it changed filmmaking. Like it changed movies. Like everything after, like not everything obviously, but like everyone was like, I gotta write my Tarantino script. I gotta sell my Tarantino script. I have to do my Tarantino movie. And the you could probably make an argument about Kevin Smith as well, but like Tarantino was like the guy that everyone was like, how do I get into a Tarantino movie? How do I get the rights to a Tarantino movie? Like he changed everything about it. He is a rock star. Like he's
the blockbuster indie director.
Like Tarantino's like, all right, I'm gonna get Brad Pitt for my next movie, and then it's like, oh my god, he's getting Brad Pitt for a Tarantino movie. Like Tarantino's the star of his movie, even though he's never like in it as the star. He like. You go see the new Tarantino movie. You don't go see the new Brad Pitt movie. You go see the new Tarantino movie.
Correct. Mm-hmm. And I like the fact that he's kind of made a brand for himself.
Right.
Like right now, the ninth film from Tarantino.
Right.
You don't even care what the title is. Yeah. You just know you're going to go.
And he's really full of himself, and he has a big ego, but like with good reason. Like he brings it. Whether
he can back it up.
Right. Whether or not I like his last few movies as much as other ones, it doesn't matter. Like I'm still jacked to see the next Tarantino movie, and there's probably no other filmmaker that I can get as excited about. He's my favorite filmmaker by far.
Oh,
I know. Like,
no, I'm good.
You brought the wrong guy on.
No, I think we brought the right guy because I don't have that same enthusiasm like you do.
Yeah, I could talk for hours about Tarantino movies.
Oh, I can anytime Pulp Fiction. The only reason why I wouldn't want to watch Pulp Fiction because it's on TV all the time is because it's already out of order in the first place. To edit it for television and then obviously edit it for language, at that point I'm just like, nope, fuck it. I'm just going
There's no
downstairs.
reason to watch it.
Yeah.
All right, so that was our official ranking of the 8 Tarantino films. Death Proof, number 8, Inglourious Bastards, number 7, Hateful Eight, number 6, number 5, Reservoir Dogs, Jackie Brown, number 4, Django Unchained, number 3, Kill Bill, number 2, and number 1, Pulp Fiction.
And then we'll just have Chris fix it later.
Yeah. Inglourious Bastards at 1 and Pulp Fiction at 2. And yeah.
I'd put Inglourious Bastards at 2.
Actually, looking at my own list without having seen Jackie Brown or Death Proof, this would be pretty close.
Wow.
Yeah. It's pretty close.
I really want to hear what you have to say about Jackie Brown, so you need to watch it.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know what else. What else do we want to say about Tarantino? We're all excited for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Are we all going to the opening weekend?
I'm going Thursday.
I'm breaking the wife rule for this one. Like, if she can't make it, I am still going. So
I have no idea when I'm seeing it,
This
but I
will
will
actually
see it.
be my first Tarantino film in theaters, which is kind of
are
weird.
you going, Chris?
Yeah, I'll go. But this will be my first one that I'll actually see in the theater.
But you're not making plans to see it.
Not yet.
Because I was making plans like a year ago to see this in theaters.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I'll be
For you, this is like your Marvel or Star Wars.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Making
this is-
plans, you're gonna dress up and
No. I actually thought about taking the day off.
He's going to go with Sharon Tate.
I'm gonna go as
Charles Manson.
I'm gonna go as Marvin from Pulp Fiction
There you go.
after the hit gets shot in the face.
You need to bring a GIMP along then.
That's the way to go to a Tarantino movie.
Yeah. All right, so that was our Tarantino ranking. Please send us your official rankings because this is just a mishmash of all of us, and I think it's funny.
That was, I have to admit, I was really nervous about how this was going to play out because I didn't know what was happening. And that turned out a lot better than I thought it would.
Well, except for the beginning.
Besides
where
that one.
With my ego, I thought
where I almost got shivved.
What do we think of this game? Do you think we should try it again for someone else, like something else in the future?
I think like any big property, it would work. Like we're like Casey and I were talking about how we should do something similar to like this with the Fast and the Furious with you.
I just thought of that beforehand. I'm like, oh, we can't play the game twice in a row because we're doing Fast and the Furious
not?
next week. I mean, we could.
You could still do like a top 7, or this is 8.
There's 8.
How
there's
many Fast and the
There's
Furious
8
are there?
Fast and the Furious
There's 8,
movies.
and Hobbs and Shaw is the spinoff. Yeah.
So there is 8.
Oh man, see, I would even say you should do 7, and that way one can't make it, and that way you have.
Sorry, Too Fast, Too Furious.
You're not wrong.
Okay, so then just do 8 because Too Fast, Too Furious is going to
Can be the number 8. Yeah.
I think we all agree that's the worst.
We'll figure it out. Like I said, all right, next week we are going to be doing Fast and the Furious in some capacity.
Who's
We'll
with that?
We'll figure it out.
Who's
Yeah.
doing that one with you guys?
Andy the Fat Dude
Ooh,
will
is he
be
a
on.
big, is he a big Fast and the Furious fan?
From what it sounds like, he is.
Interesting.
In a terrible, like, these movies are bad, but they're so good.
God,
type of way.
I'm such a nerd for these movies.
They like.
I have
I
such
watched
a
it.
fascinating history with these movies because I'm so up and down
Yeah.
on them.
The newest trailer for Hobbs and Shaw makes this movie look so dumb, but I am 100% in.
I don't think they care.
No, and I'm glad.
Right.
Like, they need to go to space in the 10th movie.
Okay.
If they don't, it's a missed opportunity.
I think what's happening is we are seeing who's getting to space first. Is it Fast and the Furious or is it Tom Cruise?
Maybe Tom will show up in Fast 10 and they'll all go to space together.
Like, who's gonna drive on the moon first? Is it gonna be Tom Cruise or is it gonna be Vin Diesel? That's the
real question.
That's the space race for our generation.
All right, so we got to plug some of the stuff we got going on here at Backlot 605. Like I said, you can check out our Fast and the Furious episode next week with Andy from Fat Dude Digs Flicks. He will be here, and we're going to figure out what we're going to do.
You gotta do the same thing.
I'm
You have to
thinking
do the same
about it.
thing.
I don't know. We'll talk about it.
We'll see.
You can also check out our interview with the writer-director of the Shudder original film, Dead Detectives. The writer-director, Tony West, he was on for an interview with us, and he was awesome to have on and talk about his newest film. So
He was great.
yeah, definitely check that out on our website and all our podcast streaming services. Check out Andy Erickson's review of The Lion King. I think he echoed much of what Chris said at the top of this show. And yeah,
Is that available now? Can I,
not yet.
not yet.
But it will be by
It will
the
be
time
when this is out?
When this
I
is
really
out,
wanna
yes.
read it.
Yes. You can also check out Jameson Feifel's review of Crawl. I think that one went over a little better for everyone than Lion King.
I want to see that really badly, but I don't think I'll have time to watch it.
Chris, you got anything in the pipeline you want to plug?
Yes, because I did do a few months ago, I wrote about what I predicted for Phase 4. So I'm going to do a reach back to that one.
There you go.
Good
I like
idea.
that.
See how much I got correct and wrong.
I like that. I think you were pretty close.
I think I was.
Damn.
Yeah.
Got like a witch doctor over here with Marvel or something.
I spent too much time on
He's
Reddit.
got the ins.
Like I spend no much time on Reddit.
Yeah.
He's getting that Disney money that we earned.
Chris, there, please.
All right, we gotta plug our newest show to the Backlot 605 network called The Killer Countdown.
Yes.
Blake, I'll let you plug that.
Yeah, the Killer Countdown's a new horror show. We were kind of inspired by another podcast that's out there that does something similar. Casey and I kind of collaboratively, in a way like this, but different. We count down our favorite. We create a best of list of a certain topic in horror, and the first one we did was Friday the 13th series, which I feel bad. I feel like Dominic should have been on that for that one, but maybe you guys can do one with him in the future. But so every couple weeks we'll release a countdown of like a specific idea and subgenre of horror, and we're trying to get some guests on to who love horror and see what they think.
Yes,
we're really excited about that.
Absolutely. Like that first episode was Friday the 13th. Our second one, which will drop here on the 29th, is on
Found
footage movies.
Yeah, and we just decided today on our next topic, which we're really excited to record about. So.
Yes, so be on the lookout for that. You can check out that podcast and all of our podcasts on the Backlot 605 network on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, and YouTube. Also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. While you're on Facebook, follow the Sioux Falls Film Community Group.
And post in it, too.
Yes, please do, because I feel like we're the only ones that do.
Don't make it sound so self-centered.
It's not at all. It's
No,
not like we built
It's actually
this
a cry
page.
for help is what it
Yes,
is.
please join us.
Please.
You can check out the South Dakota Film Actors also on that Sioux Falls Film Community page on Facebook. You can find their link there to everything they're doing. And then, that's pretty much it. Like I said, Fast and the Furious next week.
No, Fast and Furious-ish.
The Fast and Furious. I'll bring the Coronas.
Does that new one drop soon, too, then?
Yeah, that's why we're doing it. Hobbs and Shaw drops the next week after.
Damn.
Yep. So we get
Yeah, it's like August 2nd.
That's your Marvel movie, isn't it? Or
Yeah,
nah.
no, they're both my universe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
There just isn't as many Fast and Furious movies.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
They're supposedly done with the exception of spin-offs.
I don't believe that.
No.
Well, no.
Who else
the
deserves
10th
a
one.
spin-off?
No one.
Well, there's talk about Cypher.
Blech.
I'm good.
Give us a Kurt Russell spinoff already.
No, I completely disagree with that.
Kurt Russell,
Kurt Russell
a Tarantino directed Fast and the Furious spinoff with Kurt Russell.
You have not
His
sold.
10th film.
Sold me anymore.
Tarantino's last and 10th film, right
No.
there.
Oh no, he's still working on Star Trek.
That's not gonna happen.
I will.
Anyway,
Anywho,
that's for another time.
all right. So until next week, this has been the Backlot 605 podcast. Thank you, Chris, Blake, and Brian for being here, and we'll see you next time on the Backlot of South Dakota.